All right, so we give praise, esteem, and honor to the living Elohim in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach this day. We pick it up in John chapter 5, verse 39. Search the scriptures, for in them you think you have eternal life, and they are they which testify of me, and you will not come to me that you might have life. I receive not honor from men, but I know you, that you have not the love of Elohim in you. I come in my Abba's name, and you receive me not. If another shall come in his own name, him you will receive. How can you believe which receive honor one from another, and not the honor that comes from Elohim only? Do not think that I will accuse you. The Abba, there's one that accused you, even Moses, whom you trust. If you believe Moses, you would have believed me, for he wrote of me. But if you believe not his writings, how should you believe my words? Good day, sir. Proverbs chapter 28. Slow, man.
Hey. All right.
Little girl. Go in the back then. That's what you want to do. Proverbs 28, what, and 12? When righteous men do rejoice, there is great esteem, but when the wicked rise, a man is hidden. We dealt with that last night. He that covers his sin shall not prosper, but whoso confess and forsake them shall have mercy. Happy is the man that fear always, and he that harden his heart shall fall into mischief. A roar is a roaring lion and a raging bear, so is a wicked ruler over the poor people. The prince that want understanding is also a great oppressor, but he that hate covetousness shall prolong his days. And a man that do violence to the blood of any person shall flee to the pit. Let no man stay him. Whoso walk uprightly shall be saved, but he that is perverse in his ways shall fall at once. Let's back this up a tad, and let's look at again this part about covering sins. Let's go back this here, right? He that covereth his sins shall not prosper. So let's look at cover. And of course, you know that is kasah, and that is to conceal and to hide. Individuals who like to conceal and hide their transgressions, shalom, man, shall never, ever prosper, which we talk that is salak. You will not have good success. I want you to come over here, right? Come over here to John chapter 7 and verse 1.
Hey. Make you come sit here now. Sit down.
Seven and 1. After these things, Yahushua walked in Galilee, for he would not walk in the Yahudim because of the Yahudim sought to kill him. Now the Yahudim's feast of tabernacles was at hand. His brethren therefore said unto him, depart hence and go into Yehuda, that the disciples also may see the works that you do. There is no man that do anything in secret. He himself seek to be known openly. If you do these things, show yourself to the world. For neither did his brethren believe in him. Then Yahushua said unto them, my time is not yet come, but your time is always ready. The world cannot hate you, but me it hate, because I testify of it, that the works thereof are evil. And again, I mentioned this last night. Matter of fact, I was looking at something earlier. Shalom, any of y'all familiar with the WNBA player who got her titties removed? There was a WNBA player not too long ago. She got her titties removed. And it was funny because she wants to be called a they, because she says she's non-binary. Y'all know what that is to be non-binary? What is it to be non-binary? Yeah, you're not a male or female. To call themselves a they, it's only one reasonable and rational explanation that we possibly could come up with, considering we follow in the word. And you know what that would be? That hoe is a legion. And you know what they say about legion? We are many. Ain't that what the text say when they say we are legion? We are. You got a lot of unclean spirits in you, baby. You know what I'm talking about? But you know what the funny part is? You can cut your titties off. You still got a uterus, baby. I don't care if they give you a fake bean, baby. You still got eggs and ovaries. You still gonna menstruate. You still gonna go through menopause. But that goes on to the point what I mentioned last night of this is the hatred for Elohim. Because you mad. Because you know what she really mad about? She really want to be a man, and she mad that she's not a man. So therefore, you mad at Yahuwah because you're not a man. Now, when you take this thing, this here, right? When you go to mention in the word, you're speaking of, like, again, I seen a few more people on the example what I told you in regards to DMX, that people looking at him. Oh, I seen a chick I went to school with, like he was a preacher, but his sermons was rap, all this type of stuff. Irregardless of how you feel about somebody's music, well, you can't have no respect to persons in judgment just because you like DMX. But the main key component is this, is that you niggas know that you don't follow that book like you supposed to. You know that you carnal and you choose the flesh over the ruach like he did. And you're making excuses when you had trauma, you know what I'm saying? You had drug addiction. That don't know any of that. But guess what? Well, Yahuwah don't care about none of that. You know what I'm saying? Not that he don't care that you're going through that, but he doesn't care enough about it to be that as an excuse of why you did not trust and obey him. Do you think that you're going to be able to use trauma and drug addiction as an excuse for your name not being in the Lamb's Book of Life? You're not going to be able to do that. Now, the other instance where they were mentioning with this lady, and this is an accurate point, I done told you this before. You know they're trying to get you to worship the mother goddess. They push that. Now they kind of get you out here to fool with Happy, the transgender deity, because it's all the setup for you to worship Pan in the open. And this is going to be something with these verses, because you notice that these verses in Proverbs 28 are referring to evil people, or people who do unjust things. They're trying to move to get you to worship the horn god in public. And it's simple as that. That's why they pump the celebrities down your throat. This, that, there, and the third. I seen somebody say, look at this here. This is white supremacy. They call DMX brilliant in trouble, and they call Prince Philip a great royal. Well, of course, nigga, you're going to be trouble, nigga, if you are publicly acknowledging you smoke crack. You think ain't nobody going to use that as an adjective to describe you? You're a brilliant person, but you're trouble because you have self-acknowledged that you're on narcotics. And the crazy part is that's a New York thing. A lot of them niggas smoke crack and weed. That nigga Raekwon definitely got on Cream back in 1993 and say, I smoke cracks and weed. The combination made my eyes blue. There's something wrong with you, nigga. Why would you want to smoke crack and weed? It's bad enough you're smoking weed. You gonna put crack on it? That's the world it is, man. But my point of looking at that is this. When you speak of the things that don't go along, the world is going to see right now. If you was to say anything to anyone negative about DMX, you might get shot. Because they felt the same way when Kobe passed. How they gonna bring up the rape stuff? Because that's a part of his life. You can't flush that down the toilet because the nigga's dead. That's a part of his life. See, this is the game that we like to play as black people. Is that when somebody of notoriety passes away, anything negative in their life must evaporate. Whether they were guilty of it or not. I don't know. I don't think Kobe raped that woman. I think that nigga gave her some black rod that she wasn't accustomed to, and he ain't dropped no bread on her after he had done released himself on her body, and she like, I want some money. And he didn't want to pay. I think that's what's going on with Deshaun Watson, because they brought a nasty looking woman out there talking about she felt uncomfortable and he was butt naked, but you massaged him anyway. If any of you ladies didn't massage butt naked men and you walked in the room and a man was butt naked, would you massage him anyway? If that went against your ethics, if you felt uncomfortable, he laying there like this here, and he like this here, I need a massage. And you gonna massage him anyway? Yeah. There wasn't no reason in there. You know what you came in there. They tell you this. They tell you can take your drawers off or you can leave them on. But they cover you though.
Yeah, I went. They just tell you to take all your clothes off. They wouldn't know if your drawers are on when they come in there. They ask you.
No, they won't. Because when I went, the lady said you could keep your drawers on. You could take your drawers off.
But whatever option you did, they wouldn't know.
No, they wouldn't know unless she was trying to get you happy ending.
Right. That's why I'm like, that don't even make sense.
They say he around here rubbing peen on their arm and on their elbows. Why he getting a massage? That mean that nigga got a horse penis.
Somebody's lying. Yeah,
straight up. They say why he getting a massage? He rubbed his meat on their arm. Wow. Now listen, it's the oddest places where he rubbed it at. They say on their arm, on their elbow, on their kneecap. Then a couple of them say he forced me to give him head. How did a nigga force his penis in your mouth? What did he run up and say? Open your mouth now. Take it. That's what I'm trying to take.
Oh, yeah, I don't think you have to. I know.
No, don't get it twisted. Does he have to do that? No. But you do have men who have money, who have power, who get off. I don't think he got the power. Who get off on doing things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? Of exhorting some dudes get off on that. But then on the flip side, you have some women who get off on bondage and rape type role play. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't think it was no man that came up and said, let me choke a woman. That was a woman's idea that she wanted to be choked. You know what I'm talking about? That she wanted to get done that way. Because you got some dudes that look at you, I'm not comfortable with this. Y'all done seen some of the skits punch me in my head and all that type of stuff. See, that's it. Hey, come on, man. You ever thought a man came up and said, let's have role play of you getting raped? I've heard women say, hey, they role play like this. I want you to take it. Nigga, what? Okay. Oh, you done that? Oh, no, you didn't play the rape role play, did you, son?
It's crazy, man.
Amazing. I ain't know you live your life like that. Dangerous.
Y'all go along. Sometimes you jump off the top room.
I nigga jumping off the dresser. That's just how people live. So I know what you did. You came in there with the burglar outfit on. Got your all black on. Put your little mask on. That nigga had the toy gun. Took off all your clothes. Oh man. But the point of the matter is, right? He said the world can't hate you because if you speak of things that are against what the world is doing, the world is going to have a problem with you. And again, that goes back to what I mentioned last night. On we don't have a problem with you; they got a problem with him. But we read this because he said, "You do this openly, and you don't seek to cover or conceal yourself." Let's come to Hebrew chapter 6. Oh, Bird, you want to get beat up? Bird want to get beat up. Don't get beat up, Bird. Biggity Bird. Don't get beat up, Bird. Hebrews 6, you can pick it up at verse 4. For it is impossible for those who were once enlightened and have tasted the heavenly gift and were made partakers of the Ruach HaKodesh and have tasted the good word of Elohim and the powers of the world to come, if they should fall away to renew them again unto repentance, seeing they crucify to themselves the Son of Elohim afresh and have put him to an open shame. See, let's come over to Isaiah 53 because, see, this is the thing. He had to cover your sins, and in that regard, he didn't have success as it looks in the natural sense because he was killed. Because he had to cover that. You remember, he looked like a fool in the eyesight of the people. Isaiah 53. I think they use shame in the book of Acts. But it's all good. Matter of fact, Isaiah 50 is what I desire. Isaiah 50 and 3. I clothe the heavens with blackness and make sackcloth their covering. Who Elohim has given me the tongue of the learned, that I should know how to speak a word in season to him that is weary. He wakened morning by morning. He wakened my ear to hear as the learned. Let's look at learned. Of course, if you should recall, learned is lamud. That is someone who was taught. That is a learned individual. That is a disciple. That is lamad. That is meme. That is and that is dalit. That is an individual who knows that the shepherd has instructed them into the sacrifice that the Ruach secured, or the sacrifice of life that was secured through the blood of the shepherd. This is what you will learn, because this is what he taught his disciples. Did he not teach his disciples this? He taught them about himself. We talked about that last night. My testimony is, my record is in heaven, and my testimony is on high. So let's continue in Isaiah 50. He said, this is verse 5. He said, Yahuwah have opened my ear, and I was not rebellious, neither have I turned away. Turned away is Sud. That's an individual who has not turned back. That is Samak, and Gamal. This is an individual who has grabbed hold and secured the words of the messenger. Remember that Malachi tells you that the priest is the messenger of Yahuwah of hosts, and the people should seek what? The law at his mouth. That's why I mentioned that last night, man. A lot of individuals, they don't want to do that. And the reason why they don't want to do that is because too many people want to rule over someone. So they don't actually have the due respect that would be required to the individuals that Yahuwah has set to do his ministry, do his service. Those men are those who are in the offices, of course, what Paul has enumerated in his epistle to the Ephesians. See, we live in a time where there's a lot of prideful men in the earth, and that just is what it is. Verse 6. I give my back to the smiters, my cheeks to them that pluck off the hair, and I hide not my face from shame and spitting. Now, shame is why we're here. It is kalima. It is a disgrace. It is a reproach. It is shame. It is confusion. It is enmity. Dishonor. Your characters are Kaf, Lamar, Mean, and Hey. And you could go ahead. Ka, Lamad, Meme, and Hey. This is the word for shame. It's just dishonor. When they say you put him to an open shame, it's saying you put him to the open, you're dishonoring him openly. Remember, he said, he that honor me honors my Father also. When you dishonor the Son, you dishonor the Father. Mean and Hey. If you got this cough, you already want it. We're already talking about someone who is being subdued. You're talking about this meme, and you're talking about somebody who's being subdued because of sin. Take that Lamad, they're being chastised and subdued because of sin. Take that Hey, and now you got the man with raised arms that Yahushua was chastised and subdued because of sin. And this is why he has been put to a disgrace. That's what, remember what it says, right? He said he did not hide his face from what? Shame and spitting. Of course, y'all know that they spit in his face. Remember what it said, that he that covers his sin shall not prosper. So what we're looking at is right, they state the statement that you got to do this openly. And Yahushua did not seek to hide. Let's look at another place in regards to this dishonor or shame. Because remember, right, sin is a reproach to any people. Sin is a dishonor to anyone who is affiliated with it. Come over here to Psalms 4. Psalms 4 and 1. It says, hear me when I call, O Elohim of my righteousness. You have enlarged me when I was in distress. Have mercy upon me and hear my prayer. O you sons of men, how long will you turn my esteem into shame? How long will you love vanity and seek after leasing? Selah. Leasing, if you recall, that is a deceptive thing. That is kazab. That is falsehood. How long will they be a liar? How long will you seek after emptiness and lies? Well, we have shame again. Now they turned his shame, his esteem, into shame. Remember what he asked when he prayed? Abba, give me the esteem that I had with you before the what? The world was. Well, let's look at how they took this man's esteem and turned it into shame. Come over here and let's just look at some of the things that they did to this man. And he can show you that he was not covering those sins, but he was willing to be able to be beaten because of them. Matthew chapter 26. After this, in Matthew 26, you could get Psalms 44 and Psalm 69. Matthew chapter 26. You can read at verse 63. You can make it 62. Leave stuff alone that don't belong to you, boy. So I take your diaper, make you wear it for a hat. You want to wear a diaper for a hat? Diaper boy. Matthew 26 and 62. And the high priest arose and said unto him, answer you nothing. What is it these witness against you? Yahushua held a shalom. The high priest answered and said unto him, I adjure you by the living Elohim that you tell us whether you be the Mashiach, son of Elohim. Yahushua said unto him, you have said, nevertheless, I say unto you, hereafter you shall see the Son of Man sitting on the right hand of power and coming in the clouds of heaven. Then the high priest rent his clothes, saying, he has spoken blasphemy. What further need have we of witnesses? Behold, now you have heard his blasphemy. What think you? They answered and said, he's guilty of death. And they did spit in his face and buffeted him. Others smote him with the palm of their hands, saying, prophecy unto us, Mashiach. Who is he that smote you? See, let's look at another instance for that. We ain't read it in a while. John 18. Let's look at another instance of them disrespecting this man. John 18 and 19. Fix your face. Nothing wrong with you. Yahushua answered him, I spake openly to the world. I ever taught in the synagogue. Verse 19. The high priest then asked Yahushua of his disciples and of his doctrine. Yahushua answered him, I spake openly to the world. I ever taught in the synagogue and in the temple, whither the Yahudim always resort, and in secret have I said nothing. Why ask you me? Ask them which heard me what I have said unto them. Behold, they know what I said. When he had thus spoken, one of the officers which stood by struck Yahushua with the palm of his hand, saying, answer you the high priest so? Yahushua answered him, if I have spoken evil, bear witness of the evil. But if well, why smite you me? The shame. The disrespect. Let's look at some more. Come over here to Matthew 27. The thing is, though, that's what they going to do to you. Same people who say they believe this word, that's what they going to do to you. Well, we walk around here looking like somebody's granddad.
Yeah. Really,
Matthew 27:27. And when we look at that, it says, he said, he that covereth his sin shall not prosper. And we see Yahushua is not covered. He in the open with it. Then the soldiers of the governor took Yahushua into the common hall, gathered him unto the whole band of soldiers. They stripped him and put on him a scarlet robe. And when they platted a crown of thorns, they put it on his head and a reed in his right hand. And they bowed the knee before him and mocked him, saying, Hail, Malach of the Yahudim. They spit upon him. They took the reed and smote him on the head. And after they had mocked him, they took the robe off of him and put on his own raiment and said, Let him away, crucify him. Now, of course, you know he had great success. Why? Because he was put to open dishonor. He did not run from it, and you could see how they took his glory and turned it into shame. This is son of Elohim, and they dishonored him openly. Matter of fact, 1 Corinthians chapter 2, before we go to Psalms 44 and Psalm 69. Be quiet, Mordecai. First Corinthians chapter 2 and verse 4. And my speech and my preaching was not with enticing words of man's wisdom, but in demonstration of the Ruach and of power, that your faith should not stand in the wisdom of men, but in the power of Elohim. Howbeit we speak wisdom among them that are perfect. Hey, all you little children need to be quiet, because I can hear your voices. Y'all the only people in here talking. Be quiet. Now, if you want to talk, this is what you can do. You can go sit outside in the front porch in the heat and look through the glass door. Because that's going to be the next step. You're going to have to get out. And that don't mean go outside and play. That means stand on the front porch and look sick in the face. Howbeit we speak wisdom among them that are perfect, yet not the wisdom of this world, nor of the princes of this world that come to nothing. But we speak the wisdom of Elohim in the mystery, even the hidden wisdom which Elohim ordained before the world under our esteem, which none of the princes of this world knew, but had they had known it, they would have not crucified the Lord of esteem. See, hopefully they would have known what they were doing. But most of these people didn't know they had to fulfill that book. They had to put them man to a shame, not even knowing that they taking this man's esteem and turning it into shame. Psalm 44. See, we live in a time period where most people don't know what they're doing. But then at the same token, I think how stuff get, and when I say most people don't know what they're doing, I'm talking about the level of blasphemy. Most people know in their day-to-day actions, they know what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? But if you talking about like literally, them people didn't really know that you just crucified your God, boy. You know what I'm saying? You just looked your God in the face and told him he was a liar. We already talked about this here. They did exactly what they did during the time of Samuel. You rejected your God for a man to reign over you. You rejected your God for a man to reign over you. That's what you did during the time of Samuel. You rejected Yahuwah for Saul to reign over you. They rejected their God for Caesar to reign over them. And now people are rejecting their God for themselves to reign over them. You know what I'm saying? People want to be their own God. That's why I mentioned the thing with the lady who got her titties removed. Because they're trying to teach you to be your own God. You can do your own thing. Have a hatred for Elohim. See, she's not going to go to hell for getting her titties removed. She just ain't got no titties. So if she have a baby, ain't going to be no breastfeed. She going to have a problem. But y'all know what the law say. Take your balls and penis off if you want to, or you're scarred. See, the Lord don't care nothing about you turning your vagina and no penis. He know you just sick in the head. You know what I'm saying? But you get rid of the thing that brings forth. See, this is the thing also. And I know it's a hard reality to hear. And but it is what it is. Women are not the givers of life. You bring forth life. The man is the one who gives life. Your eggs are useless. That's why there's no need for you to ejaculate during sexual intercourse. Your ejaculation serves no purpose. Your orgasm serves no purpose. A man having an orgasm brings forth life. There is no life if a man does not ejaculate. This is why he slaughtered Onan for spilling his seed when he's supposed to brought forth life. You just said that life was not important for you to do. You know what I'm talking about? You felt like it was more important for you to have pleasure than for you to bring forth life. You're not worthy to breathe. See, I know that's the common denominator because they tell you women bring forth life, they carry life. But the man carries forth life because the seed is the most important thing. How do we know this? Because of the gospel. Because he said it's not seeds of many, but seeds of one, that seed being Mashiach. And he said that this is the promise that I will make with you, that your seeds, these words that are in your mouth and this ruach I placed upon you will not depart from out of your mouth, nor out of the mouth of your seed, nor out of the mouth of your seed, from henceforth and forever. So the man's seed is way more important than a woman's uterus. This isn't the eyesight of Elohim. I know it's not common conversation. This is not to demean or diminish a woman in any shape, form, or fashion. It's just to deal with what reality is. See, when you look at it in the world, who's get told to protect their sexual organs more, a man or a woman? The man is, because he's told to protect his seed. See, the reason being is a woman can be inseminated only once every 9 months. That man can inseminate multiple women at a time. She can only carry a child once every 9 months. You know what I'm saying? Then you have to go through that. It definitely is, and the text tell you that. Blessed is the man who have his quiver full of them. You know what I'm talking about? But why I'm mentioning that because the man's seed is symbolic of the seed of Elohim. Because what did he say the seed was in Luke? The word. And what did he say give what is ruach and what is life? The word. This is why the man's seed is more important, because it's pointing you to something else. Because the earth can't give life. That's why they want to call her the Mother Earth and make her Gaia and all this other type of stuff. That's exactly, Rohan. That is definitely why they are eliminating men. Because where there are no men, there is no life. A brother had made forth a strong point that talking about that there is no such thing as a homosexual community or LGBTQ community because they cannot exist on their own. They have to poach off heterosexual people in order for them to exist. Because they can't bring forth life. And like you just said, life-giving water that flows. That is what your seminal fluid is. So what that is, that's life-giving water. Because what are you doing? You're watering the eggs or you're watering the plants. You know, a seed of a plant in the ground is worthless. That's why they want to tell you Mother Earth and Mother Goddess, because Gaia can't produce life. That's why they have to try to make it seem like it's a Father God and a Mother God to invalidate him. That's why, and I want to mention that because y'all know what the law say. Come on around here to Deuteronomy 23, who don't say nothing about a woman barring her vagina. Well, he said, let a man play with a piece. Play with it and get rid of it if you want to. Boy, you're going to have some problems, boy. That boy said, you can't enter. That boy, you can't come in ever. Get right here, man, 23 and 1, right here on the top, man. He that is wounded in the stones, or he that have his primitive member cut off, shall not enter into the congregation of you. Let's just look at the Hebrew words for all of them. Let's look at wounded in the stones. That's patsa. That's a bruise, a wound by bruising, a wound by crushing. This is a wound. This pay, side, and ayin. Well, what did it tell you? You knew the way of the word. You knew Yahusha was the way. Let's look at stones. The ka. That is a crushing, mutilating. That is dalit, kaf, and hay. So guess what? You know that Yahusha was subdued by hanging. You were wounded in the stones. You were mutilated. Why do you think they turned around and they weren't able to mutilate the man? He was wounded, but he wasn't mutilated, though, was he? No, sir. Now, privy member. And that's where you get the shafka. And of course, you know what that is. That is your penis. That is your urethra. That is your male organ. Only time this word is used in the text. Shan, hay, kaf, and hay. I definitely would not advise any man to get a vasectomy because I believe they have to cut your urethra to do a vasectomy, and you have cut your privy member. Let's look and see what that is.
You know, they said they cut the little sperm cord.
Sure.
The testicle cord going to the urethra. Yeah.
It is. They put small cuts are made in the skin of the scrotum to reach the vas deferens. The vas deferens is cut, and a small piece may be removed, leaving a short gap between the ends. Yeah, that's right. We just talking about that. Rohan says sometimes it does reverse, and there's many lawsuits about it.
Oh, you pretty much cut the whole pipe. Cut the whole pipe so it don't mix to the end of the rope.
That is correct, sir. Saran said the seed that goes into the ground brings forth life, i.e., who a word goes to the seed and bring forth life into the Adamah or the ground. That's why the 5%ers call their woman their earth. That's why they use that terminology. I don't know if y'all know about that, but that's why they use that terminology. Yes. I would recommend it. I mean, anybody, you're supposed to be circumcised in the heart. And that's what people got to confuse with Paul, that he was telling people not to be circumcised. What he was telling them is, if you uncircumcised and you righteous, you better off than this person who uncircumcised and unrighteous. But yeah, we need to get that clip off.
That dog off.
Yeah, get that dog skin off your Peter. Around here looking like an anteater, don't do it. But you got Sean. Pay. Oh, see, now, Sean, I don't disagree. Sean said he doesn't believe in any birth control. And if we don't want more children, just stop putting your penis in her vagina. Now, I definitely don't believe in no artificial stuff, because that artificial stuff be detrimental to your health. You know what I'm saying? That junk can have massive negative effects on your physical. That's why a lot of chicks you went to high school with that were fine. That's why they fat and look like the Pillsbury Dope Man. They were taking them shots and wearing them doggone what you call them patches. You know what I'm saying? Now they looking like this. Coming to you like what you talking about your homegirl that how we out of high school. You know you cute. Let's get together. Nah. Because I told her about a hunger. You gotta. Some of y'all got friends and they be like they men be doing every man they best. You gotta ask them if you got beta male vagina. You got beta male vagina. Oh, you got physical abuse of vagina. You got broken vagina. What kind of vagina you got? Because that's what type of man you keep getting. I mean, I don't even think that people necessarily not. Don't get me wrong. Because Sharon said he don't think it's that tough once you break the habit. They all got. I'm honest. If you get married, you ain't getting married not to have sex. That's just insane. You know what I'm saying? It should be, if you're not having sex, it shouldn't be because you don't want to have no kids. It should be because both of you or one of you, with consent, have separated yourself under prayer and fasting. You know what I'm talking about? Because I'm be honest with you, if you married and either or party is not getting sex, one party's going, it's going to be very rare that you're going to have two parties and both of them like, oh, she ain't having sex with me. I don't care because I don't want none either. Somebody going to be horny. And somebody going to go get some rod or go get some them sweet watery guts somewhere. So don't be no fool. You know what I'm talking about? Don't live your life like that. If you ain't want no yams, you should have stayed on the sidelines and not got in the game. You know what I'm saying? I agree. Someone's gay. I used to tell Brandon that all the time. Talking about, oh man, I don't be married. I ain't gotta have sex. So you mean to tell me you'll lay next to some yams every night and don't want none? Boy, you gay. You know what I'm talking about? Ain't nobody gonna convince me different. That nigga, you gay. But you done heard me tell him that plenty of times in my life. Who? I wasn't saying that. I was just using him as an example because he was saying that. But nah, bro. Ain't no nigga laying next to no. So I'm like, so you mean to tell me you gonna lay next to a woman you find attractive every night? She laying in the bed in nightgowns, drawers, or absolutely nothing. And you like this here? Shoot. Nature better than sex? Boy, you lying. You know what I'm talking about?
That nigga did say that.
He did say that. Lying whole time. You know what he was in that door. Said it all on the left. That's what he was in that door. Beating me. You know what I'm talking about? Beating me. You know what I'm talking about? But the reason why I say that is not to mess with him because we done rant on about that too many times. The point is you were trying to repress natural desires and lying to yourself as if it's because he had been around people who were telling him that you shouldn't have those desires if you in the word and the only purpose of having sex is to procreate. Well, the chance to procreate is that you just can't say, you know what? I'm turned on. Let's have a baby. It works like that. You turned on today? Let's get turned ourselves on so we can procreate. No, the desire is there for the partner. You participate in the act. Procreation may or may not occur. That's how that works. You know what I'm saying? That's why they kill me with all this stuff talking about why she got to be pretty. What about her character? You're not going to know her character unless you find her appealing to look at. Nobody coming looking at no woman talking about she looks like she has a great character. How would you know? How would you know? Jacob didn't look at Rachel and say, she's just a woman of sterling character. He found her attractive. And he said, you know what? I want that. That is true story. Yahushua definitely did say that if you get married, you got to put your all into your family. You know what I'm saying? And there's the difference. And then we talk about that again. That's the difference between 144,000 and regular men. They ain't got no wife. You know what I'm saying? These are just things to think about. But what y'all got for me, man? Sean Pay, Cough, hey. Sean Pay, Cough, and hey. So guess what? We know that the word has stated that Yahushua would be consumed and subdued. But notice what it said, right? Don't get cut in your privy member. You get that peen cut off when you're going to hell. The man said you not entering into the congregation. What is the congregation? That is the kahal. You cannot enter into the assembly, i.e. the body. You can't enter into Yahushua if you do that. Hey, why y'all doing all that talking in there? For what? E3, Malik, Eugene. Yes, sir. Oh, if anybody is wounded in the testicles or has their penis removed or cut in any shape, form, or fashion, they cannot enter into the body of Yahuwah ever. Yeah, that's kahal, or the assembly, or the body. We know the assembly or the congregation is symbolic of the body of Mashiach. Oh no, that's what we were referring to. He ain't even talking about women because women are inconsequential. That's why I mentioned that with the a woman could get her vagina turned to a penis. She probably reprobate, but she wouldn't be disqualified. You know what I'm saying? Because it's something that we didn't talk about before. It's always going to be more women on the earth because women age out. That's another harsh reality. We talked about that in the past. Women age out. They hit menopause. That's why it's got to be more women because you need younger women to bring forth babies. Older women can't bring forth no babies. Man can bring forth a baby to the day that he died. He could be 85 years old and get a woman pregnant. Woman 85 years old, it's going to take you. That is a true story. Only women in specific groups. Remember, the word is always geared to men and what men are supposed to do. And they disseminate that information to the women and the children. Psalm 44. I don't know who Nicole Anderson. Who is Nicole Anderson? I don't know who that is. Who is that? I don't know who that is. 44 and 6. Oh, Playboy. Anna Nicole Smith. Okay, I remember that one. Y'all remember Anna Nicole Smith? Married the old rich Texas white man? She wasn't nobody. Yeah, she was an old big busted woman, married the old rich white man. Had a long, long fight for his money. She ended up dying not too long after that. She's been dead for a good little minute. Psalms 44 and 4. She definitely had a baby from that old white man. Hey, be quiet. That's all y'all want to do is talk and play. You're not here for that. You are my king, O Elohim. Command deliverances for Jacob. Through you will we push down our enemies. Through your name will we tread them under that rise up against us. I will not trust in my bow, neither shall my sword save me. But you have saved us from our enemies and put them to shame that hated us. In Elohim we boast all the day long and praise your name forever, Selah. But you have cast off and put us to shame and go not forth with our armies. You make us turn back from the enemy, and they which hate us spoil for themselves. They have given us like sheep appointed for meat and have scattered us among the heathen. You sell your people for nothing and do not increase their wealth by their price. Let's look at that. Of course, it's not increasing their wealth by their price. Now, when you got wealth by their price, all that is makar. That's your hire. So he's letting you know why you think you stay broke. But let me show you another reason why you stay broke, because we ain't read it in a while. Haggai chapter 1 and verse 5. Yeah. Haggai 1 and 5. Now therefore, hold on. Let me back it up to verse 3. Matter of fact, make it verse 2. Thus speak Yahuwah of hosts, saying, this people say, the time is not come, the time that Yahuwah's house should be built. Then came the word of Yahuwah by Haggai the prophet, saying, is it time for you, O you, to dwell in your sealed houses, and this house lay waste? Now therefore, thus saith Yahuwah of hosts, consider your ways. You have sown much and bring in little. You eat, but you have not enough. You drink, but you're not filled with drink. You clothe you, but there's none warm. And he earn wages to put it in a bag with holes. Thus saith Yahuwah of hosts, consider your ways. Go up to the mountain and bring wood and build the house, and I will take pleasure in it, and I will be esteemed, saith Yahuwah. Now look what he told. He said, you do all this labor, and you get all this stuff, and you got nothing. And why don't you have nothing? Because you put yourself before Yahuwah. That's what he's telling you. And he told you to consider your ways. Because that's how we live. We look at, I'm going to take care of this. Whatever that Yahuwah needs taken care of, you do that last. Now, what they were looking at in that regard is the temple needed to be rebuilt. And what were these people concerned about? Building their own house. While the house of Elohim laid in utter destruction. See, I done told y'all this before. A lot of people like to rank on the Christian churches for having it. But y'all do know in the law there was a building fund. See, that's something that most brews don't like to talk about. They talk about law. When it comes down to that people have to extend their resources towards Yahuwah, don't nobody want to do it. Yeah, nobody don't want to do it. You just feel like stuff just supposed to drop out the sky. Because the people got chastised for that. Because it wasn't an issue that they didn't have the resources, it's that they didn't want to give it to Yahuwah. They have forgotten who the resources come from. Everything that a man has and is able to earn comes from Yahuwah. And we forget, did he tell you, what did he tell Yahushua son of Nun in chapter 1 and verse 9? Somebody find that and tell me what he had to say to Yahushua son of Nun in the 1st chapter and in the 9th verse. Matter of fact, make it 8.
Book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, thou shalt meditate therein day and night, that thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein. For then thou shalt make your way prosperous.
Look what he said to do. Good success if you meditate on the word, you keep it in your mouth, and you execute it. See, the thing is that we don't do that. But see, it goes beyond just like this here, right? Matter of fact, the Roman centurion. That's right. He told him, be a strong and good courage. And Matthew, what did the people run to Yahushua and said that Roman centurion did for them? Do y'all recall what it said that they came to Yahushua and they said that this Roman centurion did one specific thing for them? And remember, this Roman centurion was a believer.
That ain't the one that had soldiers underneath him.
That is the one that he definitely is, and they made a statement and they say, Master, he's done this. Let me take it around there, y'all, and figure it out. Hold on, I got to see if somebody can figure it out first. No, it's in the gospel. It ain't in Matthew 8, though. I say that. That's a true story, gentlemen. But see, this ain't even about giving alms, because giving alms is to give to the poor. This is more so maintaining the house of Elohim and the service of Elohim, which is what the law dictated that the people should do. It did, but that's what you do when you I'll put this here. That's what you do when you're setting standards and culture for people. So you have to come in and let it be known. This is how you do the widows. This is how you do the business. This is how you do the orphans. Take care of the priests. This is what you do for the poor. This is what you do for the women. This is what you do for the house. That's what a man does. He sets the order. Luke chapter 7, verse 1. But just go outside then. How about that? Because you ain't crying for real. You're capping. You're being rude and disrespectful. Put that in the trash, Eugene. Thank you, sir. Luke 7 and 1. Now, when he had ended all his sayings in the audience of the people of Capernaum, he entered into Capernaum, excuse me. And a certain centurion servant who was dear unto him was sick and ready to die. When he heard of Yahushua, he sent unto him the elders of the Yahudim. Yeah, but the verbiage that I'm looking for is not in Matthew. He sent unto him the elders of the Yahudim, beseeching him that he would come and heal his servant. And when they came to Yahushua, they besought him instantly, saying that he was worthy for whom he should do this, for he loved our nation, and he had built us a synagogue. That's what we was mentioning this for. That man loved the people, and he loved Yahuwah. Not only if he loved the people, I mean he gotta love Yahuwah. He built a place for the people to worship Yahuwah. That means he extended his own resources to build somewhere so the people could worship Yahuwah. See, that's something what he was pointing to over there in Haggai. The people won't consider their ways because my house lay waste, and you won't put anything towards that. Or when you look at on the spiritual aspect, you see Yahushua has been slain, and yet you won't build his house. Or dealing with the aspect of the slothful servant. who won't come off that one talent. Let's return to Psalms 44.
I told him to sit over there.
But see, one of the instances of why I mentioned that there because of this verse, they do not increase their wealth by their price. No matter what our people does, your wealth is not going to increase. See, we're not talking about anecdotally that certain individuals' wealth will increase. As a whole, our people's wealth are not going to increase because this people refuses to follow Yahuwah. They don't believe in him and they don't trust him. Verse 13, Psalm 44. He said, you make us a reproach to our neighbors, a scorn and derision to them that are round about us. You make us a byword. Among the heathen and a shake of the head among the people. My confusion is continually before me, and the shame of my face have covered me. The voice of him that reproach and blaspheme by reason of the enemy and the avenger. Now, we just talked about confusion with Kalima. We look at shame here, and that's Bosheth, and that's simply just shame. Bat, Shan, and Tai. The son had to be consumed and forth to bring forth the covenant, or a covenant is no effect as long as the testator lives. But again, this is the stuff that we were discussing. Like when you sit back and you look at the suffering that this man had to take on, because he didn't cover his sins. That's why he had to have able to have good success. Most individuals like to cover up their disobedience to Yahuwah. Most importantly, when we come to disobedience, not just a violation of laws, but the fact that they don't believe. How many people have you really seen who, especially if they had an opportunity to learn of Yahuwah, actually genuinely prosper after rejecting him? See, when people look at prosper, the first thing they're going to think about is what? Financially. But what did Paul let you know about that? If you think gain is godliness, you have a what type of mind? Do y'all recall what it says? 1 Timothy 6, and you get verse 4, and you tell me what it says. When somebody find it, you tell me what he say. If you think gain is godliness, he say you have a specific type of mind. No, he said you're doting about, proud, knowing nothing. But he said you have a specific type of mind. No, it don't say carnal. It says two things specifically. Boy, hush. Hush. You're being rude. A perverse and corrupt mind destitute of the truth. Now look at it. If the text says that if you think gain is godliness, you have a perverse mind, which means that you seek to corrupt and decay the word. You have a corrupt mind, which means you don't have a sound mind, and you are destitute of the faith of Elohim. And what did he say you ought to do to an individual like that? Not to fool with them. Do you know what I'm saying? Like straight up and down. That and you did it right. Like just because somebody increases don't mean they're not godly. But if you think because they increase they godly, oh, I know not to fool. I know you evil. See, that's why I don't look at stuff like this here, right? And look at somebody famous and be like, oh, I know God with him. Nigga, that's whole stuff. That's what women do. Women equate increase with godliness because women want resources. So when I see a man do it, I know something wrong with you. You know what I'm talking about? I know something wrong with you. If anytime your conversation you go to referring to increase and you talking about money, nigga, you evil. This is what the word tells. Is that not what he just said? He said you perverse and corrupt. And you destitute of the truth. And he said, and you might, what? Bear well with him. Don't fool with him. Don't fool with him. He didn't say not fool with him if they had money. He said if they think gain is godliness, he said don't fool with them. Because guess what? We know Abraham increased, did he not? We know Isaac increased, did he not? Jacob increased, did he not? There were men who had increase of resources. That did not make them evil. But those men that know that increase was not because of godliness. We know Solomon had resources. Why did Solomon get the resources? Because he prayed to Yahuwah for wisdom and judgment. He said, I'm going to give you that because you ain't asked me for it. So he gave it to him. David had resources. We know this man wasn't wicked. But the difference of what you're talking about with these men who I just mentioned, all of their focus was on Yahuwah first. They weren't concerned with riches. You know why they weren't concerned with riches? Because anybody who serves Yahuwah knows that if he wants to take you from the dunghill and make you wealthy, that is a light matter, and it is nothing for him to do that. So you're not even concerned with it. Because we know that tomorrow is but a vapor, and as long as he's giving you food, clothing, and shelter, you're content with that anyway. And see, that's sinner talk. But again, you have to keep that in perspective. That's not to say that you can't seek to build a legacy to leave an inheritance to your offspring. But we're talking about people who think, oh, that boy getting money. I know he got it. You know what I'm saying? Because guess what? There's a lot of brews in this word that's getting money. Them boys wicked. And y'all know it's brews who think them boys righteous because they increasing financially and materially. And them niggas wicked. The nigga who think it and the nigga they talking about. Come on, bro. Y'all seen what his name was? What his name was? Jermaine Grant? He increased financially. That boy was wicked. That boy was stealing the people money. And guess what the Lord did? Struck him down. That boy died from coronavirus before he was going to have to go to prison. What you say now? Oh, yeah. Yahweh Ben Yahweh was worth $250 million. Yeah, that nigga, I didn't even realize that with him. He on Instagram, they hang out with all the celebrities. And what does daddy die from? Booty cancer. Booty cancer. Yeah, he a weirdo. He ain't got no choice but to be a weirdo. You got a reprobate mind. You walk around here talking about you Yahweh in the flesh. You know you crazy. You know you a weirdo. But that's I forgot about Yahweh. That boy had a $250 million empire. That man was worth $250 million at his height. And guess what he was around here doing? Murking niggas. Murking niggas. You know what I'm talking about? And then everybody want to blame it on the snitch. The snitch told. Nah, Yahuwah made that wicked nigga tell. Because all you wicked niggas had to go down because you were doing this stuff in the man's name. You had to sit back and look at that. No, nobody want to talk about that. They want to focus on the snitch. But you understand this here? You can't be a righteous man doing criminal activity. They're talking about this nigga snitched on us. Nigga, y'all wicked. And you were all doing it in the name of Yahuwah, and nobody had a problem with that. That's how you know the majority of people who call themselves Hebrews is evil. Because dudes can do evil in the name of Yahuwah, and nobody has a problem with it. They think it helped a lot of people. They got the truth out about who he is. That's the excuse they say every time. Wicked nigga, don't fool with him. If somebody get exposed for wicked and their first response is, oh, ain't nobody righteous, brother. We all sin, brother. You know what I'm talking about? Hold on, what else they do? What's the other line here? Well, they out here waking the people up. They was out here doing the word. Them niggas wicked. That's wicked talk. Rohan say all these groups start out with crime, they use their finances and claim God did it. Yahuwah done increased. You done increased yourself. You selling dope up in 5. Extortion, if you will. Well, you the very men in the book say don't fool with. Don't fool with. I'm just telling you, man. Excuse me a little bit, these boys get caught out there. Nigga get caught with a pump, they'll be like this here. You know what? Ain't no perfect, bro. You know what I'm saying? You know, brother. You know what I'm talking about? Come on, man. There was a group down in Louisiana. Them boys was wife swapping. Them boys was having orgies, man. Weed man serving the congregation. Psalm 69. But see, the thing is, that's my point of it's looking like they prospering. But you're not prospering, you're not having success, because we have to stop judging a man's success strictly on his acquiring of fiat currency. You know what I'm talking about? I seen a brother today, brother I know up in New Jersey. I guess he had to do him, he wanted to do him a sermon today talking about the high value man versus the righteous man. You shouldn't even try to compare a high value man versus a righteous man, because this man has stated on numerous occasions, nigga, this ain't got nothing to do with no morality, nigga. That means you got high value atheists and high value Buddhists. But that's just how Bruce want to look at it. This nigga's in the world. What do you expect him to say? Period. Because he got 700,000 people, and you want 700,000 people to look at you. But guess what? Your work trash. But more importantly, even if your work ain't trash, 700,000 people ain't supposed to hear that. 700,000 people ain't supposed to hear that. But that's all it be. People want the notoriety that they see people get. I want Kevin Samuels notoriety. Why he won't listen to him? Listen to me, nigga. Of course, a high value man ain't no righteous man. You dummy. You dummy. Of course you know that. This man around here talking about high value men knocking hoes back loose.
Where's the godliness in that, bro?
Where is the godliness in that? That's common sense. This nigga told a woman you ought to be giving that vagina away. Ain't no righteous man finna tell no woman that. That nigga say you supposed to get that away. That nigga say you supposed to have that open on the way to the car. And you know what I'm saying? But see, this is how you have to have wisdom. On the natural side, you know this nigga ain't telling no lies. On the spiritual side, you like they said, well, you better stop, boy, nigga gonna go to hell, fool, don't you? Right. Don't go together. They don't go together. That's why you spend. But no, what I'm talking about is discernment. We know that, like, on the natural side, because this is a natural man talking about natural things. So I'm not holding any weight on the spiritual side of what he's talking about. But because I've been out here in this world, everything that nigga saying is 100% accurate. This is how men feel. Even men in the word feel the way he feels when it comes to certain matters. But when we come to the righteousness side of things, when we come on that right-hand side, you know, that Kadah side, that only side, oh yeah, we have to point out, nigga, that's wicked, that's wicked, that's wicked. You need to start talking about that. You certainly gonna lead it. Like he told the woman last night, it's not in your nature to be yearning to get your back broke by multiple different men. That's not natural. What's wrong with you? Oh, when he asked a woman, what is a woman's original duty? To be a helpmeet. You know what I'm saying? But he tried to tell the women, I don't try to bring my spiritual principles into this. And if you know that, that's what most people do who claim. See, that's why you can't do that. Like if you're gonna be in the word has to permeate through everything you're talking about. Most people who on the natural side, they know they can't bring that and be successful. So they integrate a little bit in it that this is what I'm on, but they know that can't dominate it. It turns people away. Nobody wants to be preached to. Nobody wants to be taught about a God they don't trust or believe in. That's why when those women say they're Christians, he paused and they say, you really want me to do this for you? And then he hit them with that word because he already know, oh, you're not living by what you claim. You're not living by it. You know what I'm talking about? Now just imagine. Now I don't disagree with that about the virgin project. That's something that if we in the word, you're supposed to already know that. That's why I said that come with it. That come with it. That's why I told you that. Hey, I got a daughter. Shoot, you niggas better be on point raising your son. Because you like, I don't care how much money you got for a dowry. If you ain't raise your son properly, I don't want your money. That nigga stay here. She'll stay here and work for me for the rest of her life. Care what you offering. You know what I'm talking about? And if I got a daughter, so hey, boy, how you been raising them? What y'all got going on? I'm going to have a real deal conversation with y'all got going on. What's the structure and order here? Can't shoot my daughter anywhere. What's going on here? Got to. Shoot. I told y'all that last week, boy. That's grown man conversation. You talking about giving your child to somebody, you just gonna hold hum, because I know you, and I see you on the Sabbath, shoot, you lying to me, nigga. My daughter valuable. She was raised properly. How you raising yours? What you got going on? Shoot, y'all grown men, y'all supposed to have them type of conversation. You see something you don't like it, you like to say, hey, I like to get my daughter to your son. I see things in your son I don't like. What y'all got going on over there? What's the order? What's the structure? What the discipline? I can't get my son to your daughter. She acting like this here. I can't do it. You know what I'm talking about? Like I told y'all 2-3 years ago, I'm supposed to be having these conversations now. Now when them niggas get 12, 13, and they got opportunity to see some world, play with it. You know what I'm saying? It ain't like when he turn around here ain't got no daddy. Y'all looking at these niggas in the face every day. You know what I'm talking about? But see, that grown people stuff now. Y'all ain't 30 no more. Y'all ain't in your 20s. You niggas 30. Gotta start thinking like it, acting like it, moving like it, planning like it. Them children are more valuable commodity than any of the resources you acquiring in any of your present vocations. Take it for granted if you want to, then you get mad when niggas like, nah, I don't know. I gotta do your son trash. Because guess what? If he tell you your son trash, he just told you trash. And don't get offended, especially if a nigga can enumerate. Shoot, that little nigga do this. I see your daughter lazy. Oh no. You know what I'm talking about? You don't do this, you don't do that. Oh, absolutely not. Get offended. That's your fault. You know what I'm talking about? Who else's fault is it? Who raised him? Oh, that she rude, disrespectful. She talk back. Where'd she get that from? My mama, her dad, her granddaddy? Who? Where'd she get it from? Where'd she learn that type of behavior? You let her go unrestrained, running them out. And you want my son to live with that? Okay. But I got this here for you. Keep it down. Because some of you niggas gonna be mad when a nigga try to hit niggas up out of state and marry they turn to one of them. Then you gonna be mad. You know what I'm talking about? Then you gonna be mad. The nigga be like, well, I had to see some outside people. Boy, I gotta. What you got going on with your son? I got a fresh one over here. I need to buy a shoe. What you got? And we know he ain't doing no livestock, so you nigga talking about cash and electronic vehicles, if you would. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about? Straight up now. These, if you would. You know what I'm talking about? Any man who loves his daughter know he's not finna hand his child off to a man that he deems is unworthy of leading her. He finna do that. Like I say, we ain't in no world where you just send your kids out there and let them pick. That's how they get a whole face. That's how they get a whole face. I've been told y'all this for years. A woman should have only known one penis the entirety of her life, 2 max. Then you wouldn't be walking around here talking about, oh, I'm gonna leave him if he don't pleasure me. You wouldn't know what pleasure was. He'd be the only man who ever pleasured you. Now you done been with 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 niggas. You know what all you done seen. Big peens, medium peens, large peens, all types of things. You know what I'm saying? Now you looking for that nigga who freaked you when you were 22. Nobody ever do me like James. Now the young man, all his focus is in life is he got to work overtime to make sure her vagina please let she leave. Now he can't be focused on what he need to be focused on. You know what I'm saying? Which is leading, guiding, directing the family because she got an attitude because she wants some things. Because he don't freak her like James did. Well, take your funky behind back around there to James. Oh, that's right, James locked up. 7? James don't pay no bills. James ain't got no wisdom. Well, shoot, better bond out, man. Come over here, Psalm 69. 69:3. I'm gonna tell you the truth, but that's not serious, boy. That nigga ain't told no lie when he said that last night, boy. She done around here getting her back, bro, and she around here fiending for that boy who touched the spot that ain't nobody never touched. Cause I was listening to something else. They were talking about that that was on the show. They was ranking on Derrick Jackson because he went on Clubhouse and dudes was coming for him. You know what I'm saying? No, it was dude that I didn't know he did nothing about it until somebody did a live stream about it, which I could not watch the entirety of it. That's only 4 hours long. But we did hear a piece of. We listened to a piece of. That's the first time I've ever heard him get it in a form where he could be questioned live on the spot. You know what I'm saying? That nigga definitely was. He was talking in circles, trying to wiggle his way up out of there. You know what I'm talking about? And he had them old bed winch ready to help him wiggle. You know what I'm talking about? Straight up and down, but yeah, he had them old woman around there running interference, run through the A gap looking boy. You know what I'm talking about? Oh, dude just put it. He did his reaction to it, but he just put that video was like 13 minutes long. Like, the conversation wasn't that long, but dudes just did a 4-hour live stream about it. But what they were talking about is they ended up shifting into whatever it is, that bad baby girl, whoever she is, whatever that white girl is, making $1 million in 6 hours on OnlyFans. You know what I'm talking about? And they were talking about the pleasing of a woman in the midst of that conversation and how men are so focused on trying to do that. And they can't ever live up to that if this woman has had multiple sexual partners. So because she's had all these partners, he can never live up to that. This woman will leave and be alone and continue to diminish her value because she will continually lay with somebody till she finds someone who can satisfy her sexually. Usually, when they run across someone who can satisfy her sexually, he doesn't have anything to offer other than that. You know what I'm saying? In general. This is, of course, not all the time, but in general. Because we know that because we're just thinking about our culture. That permeates the conversation in our culture. Now, don't get me wrong. I know white people talk about it too. I don't know why people think white people don't. In my honest opinion, our women are freaky. I would say that white women are probably about 3 to 4 notches freakier than you. Because, see, they'll do stuff that y'all won't consider. See, y'all try to act like y'all not nasty, but you're nasty. They do stuff with animals. You know what I'm talking about? They do stuff that y'all not do. Animals. I'm talking about in America. I can't speak no well. I know white girls say they done let a dog lick peanut butter off their vagina. You know what I'm talking about? They do all type of stuff like that. That there's a limit for y'all. See, y'all try to act like I ain't lick no booty. I don't suck no penis. Y'all suck penis, tug a ball, lick booty, all of that.
This is a white woman that was on the radio show. She said her thing for kissing her off is gay.
Yeah, see, they into that. The gang raping, the gang banging. You know what I'm saying? The swapping. Into that. That's just an American thing that goes on here. You know what I'm saying? But it's not discussed because in our mind, we think that they don't do that. But they do. They just don't talk about it openly. So they're not going to say, I'm going to leave my man if he doesn't satisfy me. Black woman's going to say, I'm going to leave him. I'm going to find Tyrone. Because Tyrone's, he's going to, I need a Tyrone. I need a Pookie and a Ray Ray. That's what I need. Because you're not doing it for me, Charles. And she's out. You know what I'm talking about? And then she's alone for the rest of her days. Straight up down. Or ends up having offspring from this person who gave her good penis who ain't no good. And now she wants Charles to come in and take care of her and these 3 kids she done had from Pookie. And feel like that he's supposed to do that. You know what I'm saying? That's a harsh reality of life that we deal with, that people don't like to have no conversation about. And why I have these conversations with y'all about it is because you have daughters and you should not set them up to go out there in the world and become that. Because you have the power to not let that happen. Psalm 69. and 3. I am weary of my crying. My throat is dried. My eyes fail while I wait for my Elohim. They hate me without a cause. They that hate me without a cause are more than the hairs of my head. They would destroy me, being my enemies wrongfully, are mighty than I. I restore that which I took not away. When we look at him saying that he restored, that is Shu. He turned back to Gazal. Oh, that's horrible. Saran said he knew people who was in the wife swapping, and they permanently swapped, had children all in the mix and all. But you notice they do show, they underlyingly teach you this stuff on that show, like white swap. They showing you that type of stuff, but they try to do it in a nice, cleaned up way. Elohim. Oh, what you talking about? An 11, 20? I'll look at it in a second. Oh, yeah. Rohan said they made polyamory legal in Massachusetts. Because you know polyamory, shoot, you know sodomy is still illegal in many states. It's definitely still illegal in Georgia. Yeah, if you was to put your mouth on a penis in Georgia and put a penis in somebody's booty hole in Georgia, well, you can go to jail. You know what I'm talking about? They rarely enforce it. They only enforce it really when somebody rapes somebody. But it's definitely still illegal. But of course, you know, alcohol was once illegal. So what does that take? Oh, Elohim, you know my foolishness and my sins are not hid from you. Let not them wait on you, O Yahuwah, Elohim of hosts. Be ashamed for my sake. Let not those that seek you be confounded for my sake, O Elohim of Yasharal, because for your sake I have borne reproach and shame have covered my face. And again, reproach is karpah, which you know that means he's been made an enemy. He's been scorned. And again, he didn't cover his sins. That's why he was able to prosper. We'll conclude this matter in Romans 15:1. Little Jet, see, that's an example too. I be forgetting about little baby. Old Scottie Pippen's wife. Old Scottie Pippen's wife. This nigga 77 years old, still having a whole face. 77 years old, having a whole face. Oh, Larsa Pippen. You know what I'm saying? She don't mess with that young boy who played for the Timberwolves and done slid on him. 77 years old, having a whole face. Romans 15:1. I don't even know why anybody would want to have sex with her. She's still walking around with this man last name. We that are strong ought to bear the infirmities of the weak and not to please ourselves. Hold on. Okay, cool. Okay, that's the verse. We'll look at it in a second. Let every one of us please his neighbor for his good to edification. Either as the Mashiach please not himself, but as it is written, the reproaches of them that reproach you fell on me. For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope. Now, this is the point of the matter of what we're looking at, taking that reproach, and he that covers his sin shall not prosper. Because this man didn't cover your sin, he was able to prosper and bear that reproach because he put you before himself. Come over here to this Luke 11:27, that brother Marlon, and then we return to Proverbs 28. We'll pick this up in Luke chapter 11. I'm going to pick this up at verse 14, though, because they trying to reproach him here, trying to slander him here. As he was casting out a ruach and it was dumb, as he was casting out a devil and it was dumb, it came to pass when the devil was gone out, the dumb spake and the people wondered. But some of them said he cast out devils through Beelzebub, the chief of the devils. Others tempting him sought of him a sign from heaven. But he, knowing their thoughts, said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and a house divided against a house fall. If Hashatan be also divided against himself, how shall his kingdom stand? Because you say that I cast out devils through Beelzebub. And if I by Beelzebub cast out devils, by whom do your sons cast them out? Therefore shall they be your judges. See, he killed him with that one. That piece. He said, if I do it by Beelzebub, then your turn do it to them. And if they don't, you going to hell. But if I with the finger of Elohim cast out devils, no doubt the reign of Elohim is come upon you. When a strong man armed to keep his palace, his goods are in shalom. But when a stronger than he shall come upon him and overcome him, he that take from him all his armor, where he trusted and divided his spoils. He that is not with me is against me, and he that gather with me scatter. When the unclean ruach has gone out of a man, he walked through dry places seeking rest and finding none. He said, I will return unto my house whence I came out. If you recall, that's what your forefathers did coming out of Egypt. The unclean spirit went up out of them, and they walked through that place, them dry places seeking rest, and they felt like, oh, you brought us out here to die, because we just read that verse the other day in Numbers. And he said, let me go back. It's better for us to go back to Egypt. We had cucumbers, leeks, and melons. He said, when he come, he find it swept and garnished. Then he go and take to him 7 other ruachs, more wicked than himself, and they enter in and dwell there. And the last state of that man is worse than the first. See, it's better to see an individual who get cleaned up by that word and say he want to go back, or it's going to be worse for you because ain't no double back. See, that's what messed a lot of people up. They don't realize that. Your last state is going to be worse than your beginning when you start and go back. See, that's why I mentioned that instance of using DMX as a case study. Because he never really got all the way in, because you know that's going to be able to tell in his words. Because, of course, you can see that there was a belief of Elohim that was present. But I'm talking about, what did he tell you to sing praises with? Understanding. I mean, understanding is going to come out. See, we get moved by individuals saying something, and then you get emotional. You know what I'm saying? The word of Yahuwah is never going to make you emotional. If there's joy, it's going to be an ecstatic joy. If tears flow, it's going to flow because of the joy of the word. It's never going to have you having ebb and flows of emotion. The word of Elohim does not do that. And that's why you say that's what we just read in Corinthians, that the words that I speak are not enticing words of wisdom as man speaks. Indeed, it's going to make you see, it's going to make you seek Yahuwah's face. If you hear, if someone is speaking to Elohim and you get emotional and you feel a charge and this, that, then the third, but there's no desire to seek his face, that spirit that brought forth that word was not the ruach of the living Elohim. I can tell you that. Oh, what's the examples of hide and sin? Shoot, 2 men in a name. Sean just asked that. Shoot, that's 2 men in a name. Shoot, Cain. Shoot, Baal Peor. Absolutely not. All these boys, David, Saul.
Yeah, always.
We go on for days. Shoot, what king of Egypt? I mean, what king of Yasharal you want? Shoot, which one? Definitely Solomon definitely had his old covered up. So I can't even say he would cover Solomon openly here. Adam definitely covered it up. And tell you that in Job 31. If I covered my sin like Adam and hid my iniquity in my bosom. Definitely, because you fat and Ham definitely tried to cover up. And we going for days. Ain't no stopping. Lamech, I killed the man in my anger. Try to cover it up. That's why Yahushua told you what you do in the dark gonna come to the light. You can hide if you want to. Jezebel, because she definitely did that with the with the dude from the bar. With the bar. What about Nabal? Oh, Achan. He hid it in the dirt. Gehazi, that's a literal homeboy. Gehazi. Oh yeah, man, shoot. I just ain't pouring all them out because we be here all night. You know what I'm saying? Ain't none of them boys prosper. I give you a keep rundown. Adam got kicked out. Cain got kicked out with a mark. You know what I'm talking about? We have to revisit that. We ain't talked about that in a long time. Gehazi got eternal leprosy. You know what I'm talking about? David got the sword in his house forever, and his baby died. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm saying? Who else I just mentioned? Oh, Jezebel got killed and ate up by dogs because what she tried to cover up in the bar. You know what I'm talking about? And her husband Ahab, because he went along with it. All his sons got killed.
People in Acts 5.
We forgot about Acts 5. Drop dead trying to cover up. You scam the Ruach. Woo! Boy, too many. Boy, it don't cut it. Boy, you had no good success covering up no sin now. Don't cover it up, baby. Go ahead and confess it and forsake it. Never go back. That's why a lot of people don't get right. Now, Saran just said that. Now, y'all know how I feel about this here, right? Because, see, that's nigga talk. Saran just made mention of that he just had a conversation with somebody that you don't never know what happened between people, between Yahuwah and that person in their last hours. Now, see, that's pure another fire. Now, people like to say that because they want to use the thief on the cross. But we know scripture-wise why that thief on the cross was spared. Do y'all know why the thief on the cross was spared? Let me not ask that. Who don't know? Who does not know scripturally why the thief on the cross was spared? And it's in the law. You know what I'm saying? Because guess what? I don't care what you had going on in your last hour. Well, if you ain't got no Ruach HaKodesh, boy, you going to hell. That man said, if you don't have the Ruach HaMashiach, you are none of his. And boy, I'm here to tell you right now, unless somebody was on your deathbed giving you pure, unadulterated gospel and you believed it from the heart, well, you going to hell. Absolutely. All that talking about you praying to God, I forgive me for my sins. I'm finna come meet you. Have mercy on me. Nigga, that's just do not work, my kid. You're going to hell. Somebody got to be on that deathbed like this here. Gospel.
Then they got to get immersed.
Then they ain't got to get immersed. It helps. Because we got scripture of people who received it and they weren't immersed. The Gentiles, Act 10, but they did get immersed right after. They did get immersed right after.
They say you can't enter the kingdom unless it's water.
Them boys say, what hinder us to be baptized? He said that. Them boys heard the gospel. Ruach fell right over.
I need that.
Oh, you need that? You don't recall?
I can't.
Who don't recall?
I can't remember.
You know what healing that? You know why? Why did these guys say? I know it's been a long time. It's been about a good shoot.
Tell it to him.
That's right, cousin Joseph.
Talk.
Cousin Joseph. Let's go look at it. Cousin Joseph. The chief baker, cousin Joseph.
That is. And I remember now.
That's why I said I said I know a little twinkle.
You know, it's been a long time. I should have left you.
Alley-oop.
Without a joke, beat the step too.
Hey, boy.
Yeah.
I had to sleep on that.
Come on, where we at with it, man? Genesis 40, that's what I need.
Oh, man. Oh.
Genesis 40, that's what I need. 40 and 9 is sufficient. What you doing? Genesis chapter 40, verse 9. The chief butler told his dream to Joseph, and he said to him in my dream, behold, a vine was before me. Hold on to what? I got to keep it brief. I can't sponsor it all the way out. What did he tell you in John chapter 15?
I am the vine.
I am the vine. We just talked about that not too long ago in Isaiah chapter 5. That choice vine. Verse 10. And in the vine were there 3 branches. And it was though it had budded, and her blossoms shot forth, and the clusters thereof brought forth ripe grapes. 3 branches. Who them 3 branches? Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. Because Abraham brought forth Isaac. Isaac brought forth Jacob. Jacob brought forth the sons of Yasharal, i.e., the Father, the Son, the Ruach HaKodesh. The Ruach HaKodesh produces the sons of the living Elohim. Let's continue. Verse 11, Pharaoh's cup was in my hand. We just talked about a cup. And I took the grapes and pressed them into Pharaoh's cup and gave the cup into Pharaoh's hand. Joseph said unto him, this is the interpretation of it. The 3 branches are 3 days. Yet within 3 days shall Pharaoh lift up your head and restore you under your place. Oh, no. That's easy. Restore him unto his place, resurrect him from the dead. Because Pharaoh the one gave him the cup. The chief butler gave the cup. Let's look at what a chief butler is, just so you can see what a chief butler is. It's been a long time. We come back around there every now and then. Let's get a chief butler. You too big, Bird. You too big. Whining and carrying on. Now, when we have butler here in this verse, it's different. Hold on. Let me back that up. Who over there giggling? You giggling? You giggling? Oh, you're not giggling. So is Grandma. Grandma giggling? Oh, she's not giggling. Grandma always giggling. Grandma always giggling. Grandma always giggling? Yeah, she is always giggling. Okay, it's the same word. So you got chief, right? That's Sar. You know, that's the ruler, the leader, the chieftain. That's Shan and Raj. So you know that the head was consumed. But then you have butler. And butler is Shakah. And this is the individual who gives to drink, irrigates, drinks water, or calls to drink water, or gives to drink or to be watered. He is the one who moistens water or brings forth water. Simple as that. Shan, Kuf, and Hay. So what do you have? The consumption of the last Adam. Or you can sit back and look at it and see how, behold, how you're paired to life. But this is what the chief butler does. Let's come back over here, right? What did I stop? We're in verse 14. I read 13 again. But within 3 days shall Pharaoh lift up your head and restore you unto your place. And you shall deliver Pharaoh's cup into his hand in the former manner when you was his butler. You shall deliver the cup in the former manner when you were his butler. What is former manner? That's mishpat, former judgment. I will give you the esteem that I had with you before the world was. That I might, he say, what and if shall you see the son of Elohim return to the place that he came from? Let's continue. But think on me. Hold on, but what? But think on me when it shall be well with you. Show kindness, I pray you, unto me, and make mention of me unto Pharaoh, and bring me out of this house. For indeed I was stolen away out of the land of the Abarim, and here also have I done nothing that they should put me into the dungeon. When the chief baker saw that the interpretation was good, he said unto Joseph, I was in my dream, and behold, I had 3 white baskets on my head, and in the uppermost baskets there was all manner of baked meals for Pharaoh. The birds did eat them out of the basket upon my head. Joseph answered and said, this is the interpretation of the 3 baskets, or 3 days. Yet within 3 days Pharaoh shall lift up your head from off you, and shall hang you on a tree, and birds shall eat your flesh from off of you. Now this is the who? This is the chief baker, is it not? We back that up for baker. Hey, be quiet. Be quiet. Let me get this word for baker and the candlestick maker. Baker is a fire. You have olive, pay, and hay. And that's the strength. Behold, the strength of the word. What did they say about Yahushua? Behold your king, did it not? And then they took him and they hung him on a tree. See, all that Genesis 40 dealing with this is what you have in this regard. Just so you know, the baker is Yahushua being hung from the tree. The baker being, the butler being restored to his place is Yahushua going back into heaven. And Joseph is Yahushua resurrected from the dead. All that. See, we'll read that and thinking, well, all that's in there? All that's in there. All 3 people are him. Performing works that he performed. And they make it clear, too, when you have understanding. You're like, yeah, man, shoot, I see that. But when you don't have understanding, you be like, shoot, 3 niggas in a dungeon. Right or wrong? That's what I meant when I told you when I was in there. You read the chat. I don't know what they're talking about. The 3 men in the dungeon, Paul. I'm concerned. It's messed up.
For real, like that. Yes.
For years. That's all you're going to look at. Verse 20, and it came to pass on the 3rd day, which was Pharaoh's birthday, and he made a feast unto all his servants. And he lifted up the head of the chief butler and the chief baker among his servants. He restored the chief butler unto his butlership again, and he gave the cup into Pharaoh's hand. But he hanged the chief baker as Joseph interpreted to them, that he did not The chief butler did not remember Joseph, but forgot him. Let's come over here to Luke 23. Let's look at butlership. And again, butlership is office of a butler, mash pay, meme, Sean, Koof, and Hay. And of course, that's a cupbearer or office of a butler. Luke 23. Praise Yahuwah indeed. Luke 23 and 32. You really gonna need some help. Luke 23 and 32. There were also two other malefactors led with him to be put to death. And when they would come to the place which is called Calvary, there they crucified him and the malefactors, the one on the right hand, the other on the left. Then said Yahushua, Abba, forgive them, for they know not what they do. So I don't think that's going to happen here. There it is. Yeah, I do got right. And they parted his raiment and cast lots. The people stood by beholding. And the rulers also with them derided him, saying, he saved others, let him save himself. If he be Hamashiach, the chosen of Elohim. The soldiers also mocked him, coming to him and offering him vinegar, and saying, if you be the Malach of the Yahudim, save yourself. The superscription also was written over him in the letters of Greek, Latin, and Hebrew. This is the Malach of the Yahudim. One of the malefactors which were hanged railed on him, saying, if you be Mashiach, save yourself and us. But the other answering rebuked him, saying, do you not fear Elohim, seeing you are in the same condemnation? And we indeed justly, for we receive the due reward of our deeds, but this man have done nothing amiss. He said unto Yahushua, Lord, remember me when you come into your kingdom. Yahushua said unto him, truly I say unto you, today shall you be with me in paradise. See, that's why that recurred. What did Joseph ask the chief butler to do? Because if he the cupbearer, where does he sit at? He sits at the king's right hand. He say, remember me. But what did it say the chief butler did? He forgot it. That's all this is. That's why that's there. That ain't got nothing to do with you to get saved at the last minute. That's fulfilling of the text. It was just the fact that he acknowledged that Yahushua was the son of Elohim. He chose to have mercy on him. But boy, you need Ruach to be saved. Boy, ain't no last minute death, burial, salvation. Don't let nobody lie to you about that. Yeah, ain't none of that. Unfortunately, like this here, boy, like this here, right? You take X, for example, they said this man had a heart attack in the middle of the house without oxygen for 30 minutes. So that means he ain't hear no word on the deathbed. That means he was going by his daily business. Sit down. That means if that Ruach was not in, if that Ruach is not in you upon the time of your expiration, you can get prepared for eternal damnation. And I don't say that to be like, oh, you want people to go to hell. No, that's for you to understand the urgency of the matter. Because I referenced Isaiah 59. Let's look at it right now. I referenced it earlier, talking about that seed. I want you to understand the importance of the matter. Bird, you better hush it up. Sounds like you're going to get a whooping that ain't going to come. And you better watch your mouth. Ain't nobody talking to you. Isaiah 59 and 20. The Redeemer shall come to Zion unto them that turn from transgression, and Jacob saith Yahuwah. So who is the Redeemer coming to? You're going to have to turn from rebellion. If you don't turn from rebellion, he cannot come to you. As for me, this is my covenant with them, saith Yahuwah, my Ruach that is upon you, and my words which I have put in your mouth shall not depart out of your mouth, nor out of the mouth of your seed, nor out of the mouth of your seed, saith Yahuwah, from henceforth and forever. What did he say? The Ruach that's on him, his seed get that Ruach too, do they not? But why? He said this is the what? So that means if you're in the covenant, that means you're in the what? In an agreement. You can't join in the agreement unless you believe the terms of the agreement. If you never had the, what did this man take? Matter of fact, Paul made mention of this here when he was referencing what's in Isaiah 52. He said, how can you believe without, he said, how can you call on him whom you have not heard? And how can you believe without a preacher? So how can you believe on someone who's no one has ever told you about? That's why I say the only way you could be on your deathbed and be saved, somebody would actually have to sit there and preach the gospel of Yahushua to you, and you would have to believe on him as the scripture has said. That's the only way you can be saved in your final hours. You just saying, I repent in the name of Jesus. Forgive me for my sins. I come to you. That man's not taking that. That man is not taking that. That's wicked people conversation. Shoot, I don't even that worked in Canaan. I don't know what type of offering that is, but that's an offering got all manner of blemish in it. I can tell you that. That's not how that works. You can't say, Father, forgive me for my sins. You're going to have to do what? You would have to confess your sins. You would have to sit there and say, I dealt in curious arts. I did this, I did that, whatever the case may be. That's not how this works. And I don't say that again to denigrate nobody, but you know why people don't get saved? You know why people don't get prosper in the word? Because won't nobody tell them that pure, unadulterated truth of what's going to be required of your soul and what is necessary to deliver your soul. Because if that's the case, let's put it to you this way. Would that be just of Yahuwah to give you the same manner of salvation that you heard and believed and labored in versus somebody who just said they believed it on their deathbed? Whose only motivation to serve him is because they finna die? That ain't even from the heart, yo. If a nigga wait on his deathbed to repent towards, that's not even from the heart. Because it took death to get you to do it. And I'm not talking about you in a situation where you thought you was going to die, but then you lived and then you gave your life over. You know you finna die. So you felt like I said before, you can be that hoe. You can be out here and you can sleep around and then you can get done at 40 and think, oh, there's a husband for me. Oh, but when I finish my career and I finish doing this, now I want me a husband. Now I want to be with you. That's not how that works. Not because no self-respecting man is going to accept a woman like that. See, thankfully all y'all married, because if some of y'all weren't married, and I'd be like, well, if any chick came back to you from high school, middle school, your youth, talking about she want to get with you, you eject that hoe immediately. Because if you wasn't good for her then, she ain't good for you now. That means she ran through, used up. Ain't got no options. Now she looking at you like, I'll settle for you. You tell that hoe, you get your funky behind out of here. Your vagina is defiled. Your womb is polluted. I don't want it. But you know how disrespectful that is for a woman to come try to get with you 10 years after you wanted her? That's disrespect. That's disrespect. Because she's telling you, you were not good for me then. But now that I have no other options, and I've been ran through more than the Holland Tunnel, now I'm ready for you to be my man. And that's how they come to Yahuwah. You've been out here sinning. That's right, Rohan. That's extreme disrespect. Now just imagine you've been doing all that, and now you're on your deathbed, and you want to come to Yahuwah and say, be my husband. Well, that's disrespect. It says a tornado warning coming, just so y'all know. Issued through Brunswick till 5:15. You know if it's through Brunswick, it's on its way here. I ain't even know it was. I thought it was supposed to rain tomorrow. It is. It definitely is. 60%. All day action too. Ain't that a funky hoe? Yeah, what it is. Let Yahuwah bring the rain down. Dang, the Rohan said he's been there and some elders told him off because he didn't want, and they wasn't no elders then. Because ain't no self-respecting elder gonna tell you to get with a woman who deemed you unworthy when she was in her prime. And now you're supposed to belittle yourself and take someone who's used up. No, absolutely not. Especially if you don't put in the work to be a better man. You know what I'm saying? That is a man. See, Antoine, take yourself. Imagine you weren't married, right? All this work you've been putting in your business, and a chick you wanted to talk to in school who wouldn't talk to you, want to talk to you now. How would you feel? You know what I'm saying? That's an insult. Because you just looking at, oh, now I'm worthy of you. Now just imagine that when you were, I wanted to save your soul when you was 15, what? Now you 75 talking about, I'm ready for you. That's an insult. That's disrespect. You know what I'm saying? I've been left. I've been found me a woman suitable for me. Don't never do it. Don't never, and that ain't just on no romantic tip either. Don't fool with nobody who didn't fool with you back in the day, and now they want to come back and fool with you now because they seen you done made something out yourself. Don't fool with them. Send them people back where they came from. They're not worthy to be in your presence. Proverbs 28. That junk sound hard, but that's reality. But you gotta have some self-respect. Yeah, I see. But because a lot of your friends be simping, Moro, man. Because your cousin definitely was on there simping. That's why I said what I said earlier, telling that lie when he met a woman. And grown man literally said when he meet a woman, he's looking at her character. How would you know her character and you just met her? You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, boy, it takes at least bare minimum. And that's stretching it with this amount of time. Boy, it take at least 24 months, 2 years to even get an inkling, just an inkling in an individual's character. You know what I'm saying? For a woman, shoot, 3 to 5. Y'all know y'all play shoot. Most of y'all need to be a part of the Screen Actors Guild. You know what I'm saying? Because a woman will look you dead in your face, shedding tears, ooh-hoo, and be lying. And niggas be talking about niggas be lying. Yeah, niggas lie, but some niggas is good. Most niggas lie. You know what I'm saying? Most niggas can't cut them tears on and look you in your face and tell you they lie. And tell you a whole face lie. You know what I'm saying? A woman can cut on them tears, be like this here as soon as you walk away. Yeah, girl, I got the money. I'll be over there with her. You know what I'm talking about? You ain't never heard no man lie to no woman for no money for no abortion? And she ain't even pregnant? Shoot, every man done heard this lie before. Which lie you think I'm talking about? I ain't never done this before. Every man done heard that lie. I usually don't do this. Lying. You know what I'm talking about? I usually don't do this. And we know for the most part, the one thing, I just heard a one dude put a video up of what dude asked the chick on the first day what her body count was. Baby got offended. She told me, I feel like you're calling me a whore. I'll say it. You know what I'm talking about? That's another thing for the most part, you know they gonna lie about. How many men you been with? Oh, I've been with 5. Oh, 25. I just heard this nigga say, boy, a woman say she was with 100 men in one summer. How is that even possible? One summer. Summer ain't but 3 months old. How is that even possible? It's only 90 days. That's a man a day. She had to double up. That's a lot of different penises. How is that even possible? That's a polluted womb. You don't want that. But it's the fact that they can brag about it. I've been with 100 men in one summer. Well, there go your chance to be a white baby. Come on back over here to Proverbs 28. Oh, 28 and 14. Now, Rohan like this, he say many of us have been operating in whoredom at some point. Some of us are trying not to keep going on with the foolishness, the struggle between lonely. Now, I thank the Lord. That's one thing I ain't never dealt with. I ain't been caught up in no whoredom. Boy, yeah, man. I prefer quantity, not quantity, but quality over quantity. See, from all a bunch of women just weren't gonna do it for me. Absolutely not. Because no. That's how you get caught up with churn from a lot of women you don't want no churn from when you ain't got no penis distance. You remember that what Rod told us, huh? I think Rod said, I ain't got no dick. He said, I can't control mine. Boy, you 40 years old, boy. You 40 years old, can't control your soul? Can't control your life.
That's what him was.
Huh?
That the young nigga Rod. That's young Rod.
That young Rod. Now we talking about the bar. Rod cool people now, because he kept it a buck. That nigga say, boy, I ain't got no control now. I say, I'm knocking it down. Bell back. But Rod crazy. That Rod, that crazy. He crazy. You know, Roderick ain't got good sense. He know it too. He know it. You can't do nothing for him. Let me come on out here to the base verse of what the video named after. Again, let's look at a man that do violence to the blood of any person shall flee to the pit. No man is going to stay him. And of course, that's Tamat. No one is going to lay hold and support him. He's not going to get any assistance. So let's look at that first and foremost. A man who does violence to the blood of any person. Let's deal with the first person in the text who shed blood. Genesis 4.
You sit down and listen. Wait till I was going to
4 and 5. Matter of fact, make it 4 and 3. If I ain't gonna hold y'all too long. Yeah, we creeping on 2 hours right now. We're in Genesis chapter 4 and verse 3. In the process of time, it came to pass that Cain brought the fruit of the ground, an offering unto Yahuwah. Abel, he also brought the firstlings of his flock and of the fat thereof, and Yahuwah had respect unto Abel and his offering, but unto Cain and his offering he had not respect. Cain was very wroth, and his countenance fell. Yahuwah said unto Cain, why are you wroth? Why is your countenance fallen? If you do well, shall you not be accepted? If you do not well, sin lie at the door. And unto you shall his desire, and shall be his desire, and shall rule over him. And Cain talked with Abel, his brother. And when it came to pass, when they were in the field, Cain rose up against Abel, his brother, and slew him. Yahuwah said unto Cain, where is Abel your brother? And he said, I know not. Am I my brother's keeper? And he said, why have you done? What have you done? The voice of your brother's blood cry unto me from the ground. And now you are cursed from the earth. Oh, no. Which have opened her mouth to receive your brother's blood from your hand. See, that still takes us back to let his blood be on our children's children. See, if you shed the blood of Mashiach, you curse from the earth. Or your name is written in the earth instead of being written in heaven. He say, when you till the ground, it shall not henceforth yield unto you her strength. A fugitive and a vagabond shall you be in the earth. Now let's look at that, right? He just told you when you till the ground, it's not going to give you no strength. That's ugly. When we look at till, that's a bod. Of course, you know that is to serve. So when you do the service, hold on. So I want y'all to get a clear understanding. When you do the service of the Adamah, it will not henceforth yield ko'ah, strength, power, or might, or the power of Elohim. So you know what that means? When you do the service to the ground, matter of fact, this is what it means. Let's do this. Matthew chapter 7. I'll just do this instead. Because if you're doing service to the Adamah, who you doing service to? Yasharal. That's who you're doing service to. Yasharal. Matthew chapter 7, verse 15. I read all of it. You hear false prophets which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravening wolves. You shall know them by their fruits. Do men gather grapes of thorns or figs of thistles? Even so, every good tree bring forth good fruit, but a corrupt tree bring forth evil fruit. A good tree cannot bring forth evil fruit, neither can a corrupt tree bring forth good fruit. Every tree that bring not forth good fruit is hewn down and cast into the fire. Wherefore by their fruits you shall know them. Not everyone that say unto me, Lord, Lord, shall enter into the kingdom of Shamahim, but he that do the will of my Abba, which is in Shamahim. Did Cain do his will? No, he did not. Many will say unto me in that day, Lord, Lord, have we not prophesied in your name? Have we not cast out many devils and in your name done many wonderful works? That's tilling the ground, and they're not getting the strength that comes from it. And then I will profess unto them, I never knew you. Depart from me, you that work iniquity. Or as it says in Matthew 15, in vain do they worship me. You tilling the ground, ain't even gonna get the strength from it. Meaning that Ruach HaKodesh from that man resurrection ain't coming your way. And he said, you're gonna be a fugitive and a vagabond. A fugitive is Noah. That is someone, hold on now. This is someone that's Noon, Ud, and Ayin. That's somebody you knew and you could have secured the seed, but you rejected it. Noah means to shake, reel, stagger, wander, move. To be a vagabond, to be tossed around, to cause to wander. What is that is? That you get tossed to and fro with every wind of doctrine. See, that's what happens with the seed of Cain. If you go the way of Cain and you hate the righteous and want to slay the righteous, then they're going to toss you to and fro. That's what it is to be a fugitive. You stagger, and you add the word. Matter of fact, I tell you that in Hebrews 12. The things that are shaken fall off. The things that are not shaken remain. That means you ain't built on no word. That is why a bishop needs to be married if you're going to pick up that office. And a vagabond is nude, and that is noon, u, and dalit. And you know that the seed was manifested to secure a sacrifice, but you didn't want it. And guess what that also means? To wander aimlessly, to move to and fro, to bemoan oneself, to show grief, to waver, to wave, or to shake. This is an individual who will never have a sure foundation because he didn't build his house upon a rock. Ain't that what he said later on in that verse? That he likens the individual who didn't build his house, that when the floods came and the wind blew and beat upon that house, it fell, and great was the fall of it. Verse 13 of Genesis chapter 4, Cain said unto Yahuwah, my punishment is greater than I can bear. He said, I can't carry this. Behold, you have driven me out this day from the face of the earth, and from your face shall I be hid. And I shall be a fugitive and a vagabond in the earth, and it shall come to pass that everyone that find me shall slay me. Yahuwah said unto me, therefore, whosoever slay Cain, vengeance shall be taken on him sevenfold. And Yahuwah set a mark upon Cain, lest any finding him should kill him. Say Cain had to put a little mark on Cain. Cain equals possession. We'll deal with that later. That's a whole nother thing. We know that in a while. So let me drop down here to Lamech, because I think Lamech killed the man. Verse 19. Lamech took unto him 2 wives. The name of the one was Adah. The name of the other was Zillah. Adah bare Jabal. He was a father of such as dwell in tents, and as such as have cattle. That's been long. Now when we look at Jabal, that's a stream of water. So he that has a stream of waters that dwell in tents and have cattle. Now why is that important? That the stream of water is for those who dwell in tents, because if you remember Zechariah 14, it says water issues from under the throne for those who dwell in tents, if you would. And his brother's name was Jubal. He was the father of such as all handle the heart and organ. Jubal again is stream. So that shows you how the Ruach is given and manifested for those who do praise him. There goes the wind and the rain. Zillah, she also bare Tubal-Cain, an instructor of every artificer in brass and iron. The sister of Tubal-Cain was Naamah. So now you have Tubal-Cain, and that you will be brought of Cain. He was the first worker of metal. That means that, well, you know what he did? That nigga made weapons. Things of that sort. Lamech said unto his wives, Adah and Zillah, hear my voice, you wives of Lamech. Hearken unto my speech, for I have slain a man to my wounding, and a young man to my hurt. If Cain shall be avenged sevenfold, truly Lamech 70 and sevenfold. So Lamech done went ahead and killed the man. He said, well, shoot, if somebody gonna get, if they touch Cain, that's what they gonna get. It's gonna be better for me. You wicked man. Now Lamech, of course, you know this is a powerful man. He has slain a man to his wounding, which is Harad. Of course, that is the slay. That is Hay, Rosh, and Gamal. Behold, the messenger of Elohim was slain. That is whom he has slain to his wounding, if you will. Wounding is Petzah. And of course, you know that's bruise and wound. We already talked about that already. And then the last point of the matter is Kabarua, or to hurt. And we just talked about that too. That's bruise, stripe, and wound. The powerful is the scribes and the Pharisees, and they striped the man to their wound, to his wounding, but they thought that what? Nothing would happen to them. Lamech ain't even what am I looking for? He's not even repentant or remorseful about what he's done, but he's slain blood. He got to fall in the pit. Okay, there's another instance. Speed that up. David shed blood. He had to fall in the pit. Nobody was there to support him because of it. Now, it was in my mind, and I say for time's sake, we're not going to get at it. Joab. Do y'all know who Joab killed and why? Who did Joab kill and why? What happened to Joab after he killed him? I tell you, it's 2 men that you should be thinking about. Their names both start with an A. If not, we'll go look at it. Well, not Absalom. So he did take Absalom out, but not Absalom. Yeah, he was in David's army, right hand man, real live killer. Not Absalom in this instance. Swing on around here to 2 Samuel chapter 20. I believe that's what I want. Yes, that's what I want. 2 Samuel chapter 20. Pick this up at verse 9. And Joab said to Amasa, "Are you in health, my brother?" Joab took Amasa by the beard with his right hand to kiss him. What that sound like to y'all? That's Judas. But Amasa took no heed to the sword that was in Joab's hand. So he smote him therewith in the 5th rib, shed out his bowels to the ground, and struck him not again, and he died. So Joab and Abishai, his brother, pursued after Sheba, the son of Berechiah. And one of Joab's men stood by him and said, "He that favored Joab, and he that is for David, let him go after Joab." Amasa wallowed in the blood in the midst of the highway. And when the man saw that all the people stood still, he removed Amasa out of the highway into the field, cast a cloth upon him. And when he saw that everyone that came by stood still, when he removed him out of the highway, all the people went on after Joab to pursue after Sheba, the son of Berechiah. See, this man who did that, that's Joseph of Arimathea. Took him and covered up that body and took him out. Remember what it said in Psalm Isaiah 59? Truth is falling in the street. And he went through all the tribes of Yasharal and Abel and Bachamah and all the Berites, and they were gathered together against him and went after him. And they came and besieged him. Abel of Bathmaachah, they cast up a bank against the city and stood in the trench, and all the people that were with Joab battered the wall to throw it down. Then cries the wise woman out of the city, "Hear, hear, say, I pray you, unto Joab, come near hither that I may speak with you." And he was come near unto the woman and said, "Are you Joab?" And he answered, "I am he." Then she said unto him, "Hear the words of your handmaid." And he answered, "I do hear." Then she spake, saying, they were wont to speak in old time, saying, "They surely asked counsel at Abel." And so they ended the matter. "I am one of them that are peaceable and faithful in Yasharal. You seek to destroy a city and a mother in Yasharal. Why will you swallow up the inheritance of Yahuwah? Joab answered and said, "Far be it far from me that I should swallow up or destroy. This matter is not so, but a man of Mount Ephraim, Sheba, the son of Berechiah by name, hath lifted up his hand against King David, deliver him only, and I will depart from the city." And the woman said unto Joab, "Behold, his head shall be thrown to you over the wall." Now, let's look at the other person of who he murked, and that is Abner. 2 Samuel chapter 3. After that, 1 Kings chapter 2. Do y'all know why Joab killed Abner? He killed his brother. Second Samuel chapter 3, verse 22. "Behold, the servants of David and Joab came from pursuing a troop and brought in a great spoil with them. But Abner was not with David in Hebron. He had sent him away and was gone in Shalom. When Joab and all the host that was with him would come, they told Joab, saying, Abner the son of Ner came to the king, and he sent him away, and he is gone in peace. And Joab came to the king and said, What have you done? Behold, Abner came unto you. Why is it that you have sent him away, and he's quiet gone? You know Abner the son of Ner, that he came to deceive you, and to know you're going out and coming in. But he sent him away, and he's quite gone. You know Abner the son of, I've already read that, and know what you do. When Joab was come out from David, he sent messengers after Abner, which brought him again to the well of Sarah, but David knew it not. When Abner was returned to Hebron, Joab took him aside in the gate to speak with him quietly, and smote him there under the 5th rib, that he died for the blood of Ashal his brother. Afterwards, when David heard it, he said, I am my kingdom of guiltless before Yahuwah forever, from the blood of Abner the son of Ner, that is Pilate. Let it rest on the head of Joab and all his father's house, and let not fail from the house of Joab one that have an issue, or that is a leper, or lean on a staff, or that fall on a sword, or that lack bread. That's rough right there. Boy, he cursed his whole line. Now see, come over here with a war. 1 Kings chapter 2. What are they doing to that baby? Just what David had to say about Joab. That's all we're coming here for. First Kings, chapter 2. There we go. We can start at verse 1 because Joab's right at the beginning. Now the days of David drew near that he should die. He charged Solomon his son, saying, I go all the way of the earth. Be you strong, therefore, and show yourself a man. And keep the charge of Yahuwah your Elohim to walk in his ways, to keep his statutes, his commandments, his judgments, his testimonies, as written in the law of Moses, that you may prosper in all that you do and whatsoever you turn yourself. That Yahuwah may continue his word which he spake concerning me, saying, if your sons take heed to their way and to walk before me in truth with all their heart, with all their soul, there shall not fail you, said he, a man on the throne of Yasharal. Moreover, you know also what Joab, the son of Zeruiah, did to me, and what he did to the two captains of the host of Yasharal, under Abner the son of Ner, and unto Amasa the son of Yether, whom he slew and shed the blood of war in Shalom, and put the blood of war upon his girdle, that was about his loins, and his shoes were on his feet. Do you therefore according to your wisdom, and let not his hoar head go down to the grave in peace. Because he got to go to the pit because he shed blood. So that's why I read both of them, because he killed Amasa and Abner, and those men meant him no harm. He got to go down to the grave. See, that's ugly right there. See, that's just an example of that, because the text is the text. And again, what does that verse say? A man that do violence to the blood of any person shall go to the pit. There will be no one to support you. No one to support you. And again, that word for violence in that verse in Proverbs 28 is a shock. That is to oppress, to violate, to do violence, to get deceitfully, to do wrong. And we know that he deceived both of them men. And he slayed them. The same way he did it to David did it to what his name is? Uriah the Hittite. Lied to him, going on the front line. That's what Saul tried to do to David. David just came out alive. When he sent him talking about get all them foreskins, he knew he was going to die. But see, Yehuda, and that's what I was telling y'all in regard to, that's what the beast is on. He's going to seek to exterminate people. That's why he got to fall in his own pit. Let's look and see. Revelation 12. That's why also when you see when he said, I'm guiltless and let those curses be on them people, that's the same thing with Yahusha. All them people who did violence to him, they all got to fall in the pit. And they spoke it against their own head by saying, let his blood be on our children's children. No, 12. Well, praise Elohim, man. Praise Elohim. He's going to swing right here. Verse 13. And when the serpent saw that he was cast into the earth, and he persecuted the woman which brought the man child, and to the woman was given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness, into her place, where she is nourished for a time, and times, and a half a time from the face of the serpent. And the serpent cast out his mouth water as a flood after the woman, that he might cause her to be carried away of the flood. The earth helped the woman, and the earth opened her mouth and swallowed up the flood, which the serpent cast out his mouth. And the serpent was wroth with the woman, and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which keep the commandments of Elohim and the testimony of Yahushua HaMashiach. Now we read yesterday, right? Of course, you already know that he's going to persecute the saints. We also read in Revelation 18 what? That found in Babylon is the blood of all the prophets and the saints and all those that are slain in the earth. So because the beast and the false prophets sought blood, they have to fall into their own pit. And there will be no one to help them. Let's look at Daniel 8 before we read Revelation 19. That's when you pause and you sit back and you think about it. Every individual who the text enumerates that they murdered someone, there was no one to assist them. There was no one to help Joab when it was time for, we'll probably have to read that, when Solomon executed what his vindication. There was no one there for Lamech. There was no one there for Cain. There's no support for you. There's no support for the wicked because you stood up and said, let his blood be on our children's children. There's not going to be anyone to help you. As I've told y'all this for many years, when you sin against Mashiach, it is as if you nailed him to the tree yourself. It was if you were standing out there saying, crucify him, crucify him. It was if you said, let his blood be on my offspring. See, individuals don't realize that. And all things come from one instance, like we read in Matthew chapter 7, your heart. Because what issues out of your heart is how you feel about Elohim. Because if you got a good tree, you're going to bring forth good fruit. If you consistently bringing forth corrupt fruit, that's because you have a corrupt heart. Now, the question is not why is your heart corrupt, but why are you allowing it to remain that way? Because he said either make the what? The tree good or the tree corrupt. He said you're going to need to make a stand. Why I say we women? Daniel 8. Yeah, you got to make a decision. One thing about this here, see, that most people don't want to do, which is why masculinity is downhill, because they are not teaching men to make decisions and be assertive with the decision you make and to live with the outcome of the decision. If it's a bad decision, okay, how can you learn from that decision? See, that's what everybody get messed up on, is you're trying to make a perfect decision every time. Now, more often than not, if you follow the way of Yahuwah, your decision making should bring you good success. But nevertheless, you still in this flesh, you can make a decision. It might not be the best decision. But the key component is you learn from what you did wrong so that you can be better in the future. See, when men are doubtful, that's not faith. That's not the strength of Elohim. When I say faith, that's not the strength of Elohim. Because remember what James wrote, if you waver, what are you? You're double-minded. And if you're double-minded, you're unstable, and you will receive nothing from the Lord. He's not giving you anything. And I'm talking to men, because men are not supposed to be doubtful and wavering, and because that's the example of what it just mentioned about Cain and Lamech. That they were what? They're going to be fugitives and vagabonds. They're going to waver. They're going to totter. They're always going to be double-minded. I'll be carnal today. I'll be spiritual tomorrow. I'm never going to be solid. Men have to be assertive. You have to assertively and confidently make a decision and roll with it. And that's been taken away because most men are raised by women. And are y'all assertive decision makers? Absolutely not. Because what's the number one thing that hinders most of your women from making a decision? You overthink it. And overthinking really is just a symbol of a lack of confidence in your ability to make a decision. Because you're worrying about, well, what if this happens? And what if this happens? It just happens, baby. Those are just called contingency plans. That means if this is the decision I'm going to make, if I'm concerned about what can happen, that means I have a plan if this happens. I have a plan if that happens. I have a plan if that happens. And I have a plan if this happens. That's how men make decisions. Those are called contingency plans. You know what I'm saying? If you don't have a contingency plan, then yeah, you're going to have a problem. Because the minute it doesn't go the way that you envision it in your mind, but that's because most of y'all live in a delusional world. You live in a world where everything is going to go out how you mapped it out in your brain. Then when it doesn't, you are flustered and you hit panic mode. Men have already known from trial and error in life, nothing ever goes as you plan it or envision it 99.9% of the time. There has to be the ability to adjust and adapt. You know what I'm saying? That's why women are not supposed to lead, because you don't have the ability and the adeptness to adjust and adapt on a dime. Like men have to, if you're in the middle of a war and you plan that the enemy was going to do this and they did something different, you have to adjust on the spot. It can't be no, oh no, we're going to get killed, we're going to get shot. No, there has to be an adjustment on the spot. Matter of fact, let me just make it even plainer. It's what they call in boxing a counterpuncher. The greatest counterpuncher, in my personal opinion, is either Bernard Hopkins or Floyd Mayweather Jr. You know what I'm talking about? See, most individuals look at it as you should be knocking people out. But a counterpuncher can see, okay, you're not going or doing what I thought you were going to do. I've seen what you're going to do, and I have a counter to counteract what you're doing to get you back at what I want you to do. That means I have the ability to adjust and adapt based off the circumstances in front of me. And that's a man thing, because that's a leadership aspect. Most women can't adjust and adapt on a dime, because everything has to go how you planned it. And if it doesn't go how you planned it, you get frustrated, and now you either keep on going and it blows up in your face, or you don't want nothing to do with it? Because I planned it like this and it has to go like this. And that's not how life works. Not at all. Nothing. The only thing that has ever went to plan without a hiccup is the will of Yahuwah. That is it. That is the only plan that had no hiccup. That went down exactly like he said it was going to go down, and praise be to Yahuwah that it did so. But as for if it's man is control, see, you're not in control of your life. Y'all know what Proverbs say. There's many intentions of a man's heart, but Yahuwah's purpose is what is going to prevail. You know what I'm talking about? He told you in Amos, I declare the man the thoughts of his heart. So you're not in control, and that bothers people because you're not in control. You think you're in control. You believe you're in control, but you're not in control. And who is in control? You don't give a damn about your plans. Your plans mean nothing to him. He said all things work out to the good of those who are called according to his purpose and his plan. And that's why it goes back to what we were talking about humility and the fear of Yahuwah, because you don't want to submit, because you don't want to yield to someone's plan who is greater than yours. Daniel 8 and 23. And in the latter time of their kingdom, when the transgressors are come to the full, the king of fierce countenance, understanding dark sentences, shall stand up, and his power shall be mighty, but not by his own power. And he shall destroy wonderfully, and shall prosper in practice, and shall destroy the mighty and Kadash people. And through his policy also he shall cause the craft to prosper in his hand, and he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by shalom shall destroy many. And he shall also stand up against the prince of princes, and he shall be broken without hand. Ain't nobody gonna be there to help you, boy. Nobody. Revelation 19. Ain't nobody gonna be there to help you, boy. Don't you realize when you do a lot of wickedness, don't nobody ever come through to help you? You hear people like, nobody's ever there to help me. Shoot, probably because you're evil, nigga. Because people who don't do evil, they always got somebody who can help them, don't they? It's always somebody come through for good people, even on a natural sense. Good people don't never scream, ain't nobody ever help me. It's always somebody come through. From the biggest matter to the smallest matter. Oh, don't nobody ever help me? Yeah, you wicked, boy. That's what it is. Now you want to cry because don't nobody help you. Why ain't nobody gonna help you? Nigga, you ain't gonna do nothing but take it, don't give back. You ain't gonna do nothing but go out here and do wrong. Shoot, and wonder why you ain't having good success. That don't work natural and in the spiritual realm. You can't be no nasty, rotten, evil individual and then think somebody gonna come through and help you. No, that's not how life works. But that's how, anytime you hear niggas complaining like that, 9 times out of 10, that nigga is, what is the word I'm looking for? Scum. A slime ball. A disagreeable, let's not even say that. Let's just say a selfish individual. Now I want y'all to understand what it says when it says broken without hand. You have shavar, effect, and yod. And what that means with that shafar, that is to break down, to be maimed, to break out, or to be shattered, or to break into pieces. When you have that without, that means, or that a fast, that is a ceasing, an end, or a finality. And of course, yod. So the right hand is going to break him at the end. So it's not in the literal sense of without hand, meaning he's not going to put hands on him. This meaning that this is going to be the final battle. Revelation 19. Praise Elohim indeed. Revelation 19 and 20. And the beast was taken, and with him the false prophets that worked miracles before him, which deceived them that had received the mark of the beast, them that worship his image. These both were cast alive into the lake of fire, burning with brimstone. And the remnant was slain with the sword of him that sat upon the horse. The sword proceeded out of his mouth, and all the fowls were filled with flesh. So you see, because we know he shed blood, right? And he fell right into his pit. Matter of fact, hold on. I got one. John chapter 8, verse 42. I got one. I got one more. I can't walk out of here without this busted nigga. We're gonna have to go ahead and so you can see his comeuppance. Definitely people who get themselves in a mess definitely scream that. John 8 and 44. You have of your father the devil, and the lust of your father you will do. He was a murderer from the beginning, and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. And when he speak a lie, he speak of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it. Now, Isaiah 24. And this is to refresh some of your brains. Isaiah chapter 24, verse 17. What did it say that, excuse me, what did you say the devil was? What was he? A murderer. What made him a murderer? Because he slayed with them lies that he told. He slayed. I'd have told you this before. A liar is worse than a thief. Because a thief is stealing your material. A liar is stealing your reality. You know what I'm talking about? Ain't too many people got killed because somebody stole. It's a lot of people in the grave because somebody lied. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, our text tell you about that. Don't you dare false witness on nobody to get somebody killed, because what you thought to have done to your neighbor was going to be done to you. See, liars are rough. You want to be a lot of things in life, don't be no liar. You know who the worst liars are? Pathological liars. Because not only do they consistently and constantly lie to you, but they lie to themselves. You know what I'm saying? A person who lies to himself, that's rough. That's rough. Because they're living in a delusional location. They're living in a fantasy world. I told you I was locked up with a dude. I told him, I said, well, you live in a fantasy world. You live in a perpetual rap video. Sir, we're in prison. And you're bouncing around in here like you're in a rap music video, sir. We are in prison. You know what I'm saying? This is real life. It was a dude I was talking to in Pensacola. He said, man, your life couldn't be that, because he's telling me he's selling dope. But when I say, bro, why were you selling drugs? You're an idiot. You're here to be cool. So that means you sold yourself a lie and everyone around you, that it was acceptable for you to behave yourself like that. Now let's transition it to the word of Yahuwah. How many people around here be around here lying to themselves and to others, but they violate? Do you know what I'm saying? The stuff that individuals convince themselves of. Put doctrine to the side. Because people and see the text, how Yahuwah allowed them to see the text. But we're talking about people who lie to themselves and to others to condone or promote folly. And that ain't cool. That's rough. You know what I'm saying? Because when you do that, other people are hearing those lies and you're snatching salvation from them. You're snatching reality from them. That's why the text talk about a false prophet like that. Remember when he had Jeremiah turn back around and you're causing the people to trust in a lie, which means you causing the people to lose reality. That's why he say, beware of false prophets. They're coming to take your reality. They're telling you something that is not going to kill you, is going to kill you. They're telling you something that will save you is not going to save you. That's harsh. Excuse me. That's why we read that in Ezekiel. What he said would happen if you go seek after a false prophet? The same punishment of that false prophet coming to you. That's why he said you cause my people to believe in a dream. Dreams are figments of imagination. You know, he said you speak a vision out of your own heart. Everybody like to take that verse of Jeremiah. That's Martin Luther King. You are a simpleton. Why would this man give a passage about Martin Luther King? Why would you even think Yahuwah would find Martin Luther King that important? Like, you would really have to ask yourself that. Why is Martin Luther King that important? He only had a 15-year stretch of doing nothing. All this nigga did was sit down and talk. He did not preach no gospel to nobody. He did not deliver not nary soul. That is not to diminish any of the civil rights work. It is to be respected. You know what I'm saying? That's not to diminish what he did on the natural side. But he said he was a reverend, did he not? He said he's a minister, is he not? So what is his first and foremost duty to do? Preach the word of Yahuwah so souls might be saved. Screw your civil rights movement. Your civil rights movement does not trump the gospel of Yahuwah, nigga. And that's what a lot of Brews feel like. Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, you say they did a lot of work for the people. Them niggas going to hell if they weren't in line with that book. Because you think Yahuwah sitting in heaven, them boy did civil rights work for my people. They ain't follow me now. They ain't tell nobody about me. They ain't win their soul to me. But boy, they sat in at them counters and got beat across their head with baseball bats to eat with Mr. White Man. I gotta say, At that point, you disrespecting the Father in heaven. At that point, you're showing that you don't know him. That is not to denigrate those gentlemen. I don't know the men. The men died long before I was even a twinkling in my father's scroll. But at the end of the day, the word is the word. You understand me? And if you say you a reverend of Elohim, then guess what you're supposed to be doing? Which ain't even no officer, no reverend. He's not no honorable. That's what he say, Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King. You're saying reverence and honor. I'm not reverencing this nigga. This nigga's a sinner. You like to hit prostitutes. That's why he was at the Lorraine Motel. Everybody know it. Knocking down prostitutes. And that's his business. You know what I'm saying? You know, I done told y'all that before. They released documents. They say Malcolm X was a choir boy compared to Martin Luther King Jr. They said the FBI respected Malcolm X because he actually lived what he was talking about. There was no evidence that Malcolm X was around here knocking down holes on Betty Shabazz. He went home to his wife every day. There's no record, no evidence, because, you know, they were following them men. But this man knocking down, he had no dirt to put on this man at all. So at least of what he believed in, he was a man of integrity. What did say Martin Luther King with the FBI paperwork? Knocking hole. You know what I'm talking about? And when they did that document or that buyout with Mary J. Blige, they say, y'all can't put that in there. That's going to tarnish his image. You see what I'm talking about? What I mentioned earlier, they want to pull out the negative. If he was knocking down holes, he was knocking down holes. If that tarnishes his image, that means he wasn't a man to be respected to begin with. You can't tarnish a real man because they couldn't tarnish Malcolm X. You notice that man been dead all these years and ain't nothing about no philandering, no stealing, no nothing has came out about that man. Now, he was an idol worshiper. Of that, there is no denying. He bowed down at the altar of a vagina. He went to the cobblestone and kissed it. He did it. I didn't do it. He did it. That man kept Ramadan. That man around here fasting for 40 days for the moon god. That's what he did. You know what I'm talking about? But at least he was a man of integrity. That what I profess in public, that's what I live. Martin Luther King talking about he's a minister of Jesus. Indeed. Indeed. Because you don't want to allow anybody, whether he was controlled opposition or not, to have that much sway amongst the people when you actually believe what you're doing.
He was corrupt.
Yeah, he definitely was not a corrupt man based off the FBI information that I have seen. This man actually worshiped Allah wholeheartedly at the altar of the Pope. Oh, that's got to. I mean, that's what he did. But you know the difference between him and Martin Luther King was a college student crafted. Malcolm X was a street nigga. So of course, he was a real nigga in the streets. He gonna be a real nigga what he was doing. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, that was a real street dude. Live by a code and live by honor. See, like I said, that's when you separate the natural from the spiritual. Natural side, that man had to be respected. Spiritual side, oh, you going to hell, cuz. You know what I'm talking about? I can't tell you that my God gonna let you in the kingdom when you worship another deity other than him and taught others to do so. You never esteemed the name of Yahuwah and lifted up and exalted his son by his death, burial, and resurrection for the remission of sins and the deliverance from death. I can't stand that. I don't care who you is. Period, point blank. I don't care how much I like what you did, agree with what you think that was. Can't do it. Can't do it. Because that's not what our Father taught us, is it not? Can't have no respect to persons. I can respect you and say respectfully you going to hell. Nevertheless, 24:17. Fear and the pit and the snare are upon you, O inhabitants of the earth. It shall come to pass that who flee from the noise of fear shall fall into the pit. He that come up out of the midst of the pit shall be taken in the snare. For the windows from on high are open, and the foundations of the earth do shake. What does that sound like? Coming of the Lord. The earth is utterly broken down. The earth is clean dissolved. The earth is moved exceedingly. The earth shall reel to and fro like a drunkard, and shall remove like a cottage, and the transgression thereof shall be heavy upon it, and it shall fall and not rise again. And it shall come to pass in that day, yet Yahuwah shall punish the host of the high ones that are on high, and the kings of the earth upon the earth, and they shall be gathered together as prisoners are gathered in the pit, and shall be shut up in the prison, and after many days shall be visited. This is your inkling in the script about Satan going down in that pit. Let's go look. Revelation 20, Matthew 25, and we out. 20 and 7. Actually, hold on. 20 and 1. And then after we read verses 1 and 2, verse 7, and then Matthew 25. Because Satan is actually, in the natural sense, Cain committed first murder. In the literal sense, the devil committed the first murder. That's one thing too, right? I always felt like this ain't, even without this one thing like this, because Cain, not Cain, but Satan lied to a woman. I have always been of the lie. Lie to a woman for what? You know what I'm saying? For what? Why would you do that? Nigga, if you want 3, 4 holes, then just tell her that. If this what you want, and just say that. Ain't no sense of lying to no woman. Ain't no man got no business lying to no woman. That's some cornball stuff. You moving like Satan at that point. You want to steal the reality of a woman or sell her a dream? And this, that, and the third for what? Man, keep it a buck. Keep it a buck. What the lie? I already told you this here. You lie because you fear somebody. You lie for 2 reasons. Out of fear or purposely to deceive. So why are you purposely trying to deceive? How can you say you are Elohim and you out here purposely trying to deceive? Does that even make sense? Ain't no need to trying to deceive. Deceive for what? For what? I'm talking about as a man. Deceive for what? Yahuwah don't got no need to deceive nobody. What are you going to deceive for? What is he getting out? What are you getting out of deception? Absolutely nothing. You know why most people lie? Because they scared they're going to lose the reality that they've crafted if they tell the truth. Well, baby, if it can be lost by the truth, that means it was never there to begin with. Revelation 20 and 1. And I saw Malachim come down from Shamahim, having the key of the bottomless pit and a great chain in his hand. And he laid hold on the serpent, that old serpent, which is the devil, and Hashatan, and bound him 1,000 years, and cast him to the bottomless pit, and shut him up, and set a seal upon him, that he should deceive the nations no more, till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled. And after that, he must be loosed a little season. Matter of fact, I don't even need to read, go to Matthew 25. Just come right here to verse 10, and let's get to the point. Because you know in verse 7, Satan gets loose from his prison. And what does it say? The devil that deceived them was cast into the lake of fire and brimstone where the beast and the false prophet are, and they shall be tormented day and night forever. Because he was a murderer, because he slew men by violence. Acts chapter 10 tell you this, that Yahushua came to free them that all were oppressed by the devil. Anybody who do violence got to fall in the pit, ain't going to be there nobody to help them. Hallelujah for Yahushua to work. And I appreciate y'all time this afternoon. Who are willing, pick it up on Wednesday. Appreciate you, man. We done rolled about a good 9-10 days straight, whatever the case may be. Let Yahuwah be esteemed and praised for every single solitary word that went forth to honor and esteem him through the preaching of his only begotten Son. Prayerfully, everyone gains some knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, and the ability to be strengthened in the faith, that the souls might be saved, that they might be found worthy to stand before the King. So, Yahuwah willing, till the next time.